You've got your plasma TV, got it hooked up, right into your IV. You're buying everything they're selling to you. Come to find out, nothing that they say is true. No rather elevator to the place called autonomous. Help me out, I wanna be anonymous. Help me out, I wanna be anonymous. Help me out, I wanna be anonymous. Don't really matter anyway. With the state that the world is empty, and we're living on borrowed time, living on borrowed time, living on borrowed time. I read all about your disease. Change your blood, stick it in the deep freeze. You believe everything that you see. Tell me where to get your lobotomy. Did you read about the tortoise and the hippopotamus? Help me out, I wanna be anonymous. Help me out, I wanna be anonymous. Help me out, 'cause I wanna be anonymous. Don't really matter anyway. Hey, yeah, yeah, yeah. Say that the world is empty. Hey, we're living on borrowed time. Living on borrowed time. Living on borrowed time. Take it.
We're joined now by the top Democrat on the Intelligence Committee, Virginia Senator Mark Warner. It's good to have you here.
Thank you, Margaret.
As you heard from the Secretary, a lot of these very important details have to still be negotiated. What do you think, though, of the emerging ceasefire and agreement? Because you favored diplomacy.
Listen, if the president can declare victory, so be it. But you heard Pete Hegseth's pitch. Let's look at the real facts. 107 days into Donald Trump's war of choice. Can anyone make the case that we or our allies are in better spot than before this war? The regime's leadership is more radical than ever. The ability for us to get the enriched uranium out, I believe, will require troops on the ground, which I don't think America wants to do. The idea that we have a 60-day additional negotiation, where does that lead? We'll be here 60 days, still won't have access to it. Clearly, after Hegseth had said, we've destroyed all their capabilities. They still have plenty of missiles and thousands of drones. And the idea that the Strait is suddenly going to be magically reopened, look at the gas prices. They went from $2.80 to $4.20. And I believe they'll go up more because the overall world reserves have all come down. How is that better for America or better for our allies?
Well, there are a lot of details in here that, like I said, still have to be negotiated. And when we look at Congress's role in terms of peeling back some of these sanctions, this was hugely controversial during the Obama administration. Do you think ultimately that whatever is hammered out by Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner and J.D. Vance, the vice president, will come up for approval? Do you get any say?
Well, first of all, the idea that these three gentlemen that have very little background in terms of negotiations or the technical nature of nuclear negotiations going against a hardened Iranian team that's been doing this for decades. I wish we had some of our experts at the table as well, but I'm not sure any of this will become before Congress. And it should. I mean, if the president wanted to start this war, a war of choice, there was no imminent threat from Iran. Come to the Congress, come to the people and lay out the case. He has not. And we have not done the kind of oversight that is required. We are slowly moving along and getting additional Republicans to say stop on the War Powers Act, but Congress has failed miserably.
Before I move on to other things, I just want to put a fine point on the U.S. intelligence assessment was not that Iran was creating a nuclear weapon, but that they wanted the possibility to make one in the future. Given what they have, the nuclear dust, the dirty bomb in the desert scenario, does that still worry you? How concerned should Americans be?
Yes, I'm still worried. And, for all his critique of JCPOA, we had international observers. We actually had an alliance there that included the Europeans, and Russia and China were all signatories. Now it is America going alone or going with Israel only. And that does not make us safer. And again, I will be happy to come back on the show and eat my words if the Iranians over the next 60 days give up that enriched uranium.
Yeah. Well, we'll watch for whatever happens next. I want to ask you about surveillance here and the lapse of a key authority. On Thursday, the president did appoint Jay Clayton, he said, who will be the next director of national intelligence instead of Bill Pulte, who I know you opposed.
Who not only I opposed, but virtually all of the Republican senators who will know anything about national security oppose as well.
Yes, there are some pretty colorful statements. But Clayton is the current U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York, a former SEC chair. How quickly can he move into the role? I mean, he doesn't necessarily have the kind of extensive national security background that you would expect.
Have law enforcement. He was head of the SEC. And as Southern District of New York, that's where we pursue a lot of our terrorists. I know Jay. I think he's got the right temperament. I've got a lot of questions, like, who won the election in 2020? So he at least acknowledges that truthfulness. But remember, Margaret, this was totally caused by Donald Trump.
Well,
he could have nominated Jay Clayton a week ago, and we wouldn't have gone dark.
This is an extraordinary series of events that we have to take more time to talk about on the other side of the break. Let me take it, and we'll finish it. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Face the Nation. We return to our conversation now with Senator Mark Warner. Before the break, Senator, we were talking about the next director of national intelligence. The hearing for Jay Clayton is next week, this Wednesday, right? How quickly can he get confirmed? And what does that do in terms of blocking Bill Pulte from ever taking the job?
Well, I've got questions for Jay, like, want to make sure that he's going to maintain the integrity of our elections, not try to pull the things that Ms. Gabbard did, where she was interfering in domestic election activities with the seizure of the ballots in Fulton County. My hope is if we can get unanimous consent, we could even get him confirmed this week. I would hope that the president would then say to Tulsi Gabbard, who was going to stay till the end of the month, stay at least until Clayton is confirmed, or allow the number 2 to stay.
That's a shocking statement from you, because you are a huge critic of Tulsi Gabbard.
I am a huge critic.
How much damage could Bill Pulte actually do in a matter of days?
Well, my fear is not so much the damage he could do on Section 702, which has a full audit trail. If he misuses that, we'll figure it out. But having him exposed, where he doesn't even have a security clearance, to all our nation's classified programs, out of ignorance, he might give away information. I've had heads of our intelligence communities say to us they're terrified of showing him information. I've had foreign governments express huge concern. The one thing we know about Bill Pulte is he will do whatever Donald Trump says. He was able to weaponize private mortgage insurance information. Giving him the keys to the 18 intelligence agencies would be a disaster and a national security threat.
So I'm understanding you will withhold your vote to reauthorize FISA based on this.
Listen, we have to get FISA reauthorized. We were on a glide path to getting this done.
Warrantless surveillance tool
this is
for
a tool
foreigners
that
concerned abroad.
Foreigners, listening in on foreigners, talking to foreigners abroad. None of this needed to happen if Donald Trump he didn't even come out in support of this tool until about 6 weeks ago. If he'd put forward Clayton or somebody else 6 weeks ago, if he would have done even Jay Clayton a few days earlier. I actually think Donald Trump wants this tool to expire because he would then try to blame Democrats, if God forbid, if anything happens. And the remarkable thing on this is normally we come on here and it's Democrats versus Republicans. This one is not. My Republican colleagues have worked hand in glove. If there is something that happens, God forbid, the responsibility lies with one man, Donald Trump.
That is a tremendous statement that you think the president actually wants this tool to not be accessible. I mean, it's a congressional authorization expired on Friday. Your Republican counterpart, Senator Tom Cotton, described the consequences as severe, potentially fatal considering all the mass gatherings in America right now. How vulnerable is the U.S. right now? Have Google and Verizon and the rest said, if you come and ask me for information, I won't hand it over?
What has happened is those investigations that have already started continue.
Okay.
Our ability to continue to listen to bad guys talking to bad guys abroad continues. The question is whether you can start new actions. And we are now, and I've not gotten a report yet, whether the telcos and the Googles are going to continue to adhere or whether because they don't have the indemnification, they'll stop participating. As of Sunday morning, I don't have an answer on that. I hope the Justice Department would use all the tools they can to try to encourage them to continue this program for what will be, whether we like it now or not, a short-term lapse.
But Democrats are using their leverage here with FISA to force the president to change his nominees. He did that. So why do we have a Democrat standing up and, for example, blocking unanimous consent in regard to reauthorizing even a short-term surveillance? This seems to be a national security risk of huge proportion.
National security risk caused because Donald Trump did not put forward Clayton or anyone else that was legitimate until the clock had run out. There is no question. If you got any of my Republican colleagues here, they would agree this was a White House created problem. And finally, somebody got to Trump and say, you got to put a rational person in, not this guy who's not even got a national security clearance. We will get Clayton, I hope, confirmed as quickly as possible. We will then move very quickly to get FISA reauthorized. In the interim, I hope the telcos will continue to cooperate with the government.
Senator Mark Warner, thank you for your time today.
Oh, he's full of shit.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about that agreement.
You know he's full of shit.
Wow, Feisty. A lot was said there, and I don't know if it only took one day before we finally got some results. Welcome, everybody. Feisty Digs. Episode 47. It is good to be here. Boy, have I missed everybody. I hope everybody had a great week last week. I know I did. It was long. It was mostly long because I didn't get to see you guys. I didn't get to hang out with Feisty for Thursday. My last day last week was Feisty Digs, so it's officially been a week. It is damn good to see you, Feisty. I feel like it's been too long. How have you been?
We don't talk as often as we used to. But.
Well, sometimes that's by design because
I know
we got to get that chair launching thing to be authentic.
I totally gave up.
He said a lot in that, didn't he?
Yeah, like, I'm so friggin' scared I can't sleep anymore.
Man.
He used a bunch of word salad to say, Mommy, help.
And one major thing that took place that you and I have not had the chance to discuss yet was the changing of the nominations for acting DNI.
I died laughing. I actually sent you a response when you texted that to me.
Yeah.
I said, okay. So they're going after Pulte because he has no national security experience nor clearance, right?
Yeah.
Trump puts out that Pulte's going to start on the 19th, which is my anniversary. I thought, that's a nice anniversary present. Then the Congress decides that they're not going to extend the new FISA thing. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of reforms in the new FISA extension. So it's obviously political. So then Trump says, well, I'm going to permanently nominate Jay Clayton, who has neither national security experience or a clearance. And you've got Tillis and Warner and the like all saying, he's perfect.
Well, all right, so there's a common theme between Clayton and Pulte that I picked up on after the movie that I played last night. And I want to play it again, but I want you to participate.
You did play it last night?
I played it last night because we did the UFC thing last night.
You didn't tell me.
I want to play it again because holy cow.
Right.
Two things kept coming up.
The Big Short. That's a great movie.
It really is. There's 2 points in that movie that hints at what's going on today, Feisty. one thing was the housing market or the mortgage, the mortgages, the mortgage bubble, and also was the SEC was brought up in that movie a couple times.
You mean Jay Clayton's
Jay Clayton and
SEC?
Bill Pulte. It all goes back to 2008.
I told you those two were a match made in heaven, didn't I?
And the other thing that you said that you've said ad nauseum is that you believe it all began
it all started.
In all
with the
fairness,
crash.
it was right around the time we were discussing Epstein.
Right.
2008.
All this shit started in 2008.
In 2008. Well, maybe
but
2007.
Well,
But
got to
it really
remember,
took fruition.
2007 and 2008
Yep.
are a direct response to all the reforms that were put in since 2001. So you've got a whole bunch of things that happened from 2001 to 2007.
Yeah.
Then you get Directive 51 in 2007, and you get the 2008 crash. I mean, you can't make this up.
And then on the heels of all of this, and so wait, is Pulte the nominee or is it Clayton?
Clayton's the nominee.
So it's going to be Clayton, which
So we are so afraid of Pulte that they are going to rush Clayton through or attempt to this week.
and Trump made a post last night. Oh man,
Now,
Trump.
why are the Democrats so scared? There must be something big. I can't help but laugh. I showed you the Pulte stuff. Not only did I show you the Pulte stuff, but I pointed out that their biggest fear is what's in the 702 database.
Oh my gosh.
FISA works both ways.
So what do you think this has to do with housing, with the housing market? Because there's something in that.
Okay, before we go any further,
Okay.
you got to play the Fincham piece.
Oh, the Fincham piece. Yes.
It came from Wall Street Apes. Is the only one I could find offhand, but
And I saw you put a
got to
couple
play
other
the
things in
Fincham
there.
piece because that goes back into the Sharia compliant mortgage products. Listen to what he says.
Oh. You're talking about the
It's a 5-minute segment.
The
I dropped
Islam mortgages, right?
it. Yes. Remember we did that last week. I showed you about.
Yes.
Okay. So remember, those products don't go through your normal mortgage process. Remember?
Yep.
Now listen to Fincham and what he's talking about. It's the second one up. He's on with Stinchfield.
Yeah, I'm looking at real quick Trump's post. Like you said, what are the Democrats? This was yesterday. What are the Democrats so afraid of? Bill Pulte at DNI? Question mark. He would only be acting. What do they have to be afraid of? What are they hiding?
They're just a little. And what did Mark Warner
There
just tell
must be
you?
something big, mustn't there?
What did Mark Warner just tell you? They were concerned about Pulte having access to what?
The 702
The
database.
702.
And so for those who don't know what a 702 database is.
That's where all the data for the FISAs is kept.
And FISA is a warrantless search, right?
It's a national security.
Tell me, magic mortgages.
Magic mortgages. And then there was another post right before that where he said a few Democrats are against FISA with or without Bill Pulte going to DNI as acting.
Well, yeah.
What kind of deal is that? Besides,
Because you would have thought, because Trump, I mean, talk about a 1-2 punch. Isn't it beautiful? He pulls Pulte in. The Democrats go crazy. He says, okay, I'll give you Jay Clayton. You would have thought that they would have then passed the FISA.
Nope.
They didn't. And they're holding out. And what's so laughable is them saying, well, we're not doing it because we're afraid Pulte's going to have access to the... I mean, I can't help but laugh.
Oh, things are getting so
And
good,
then,
you guys.
Then you go looking into Jay Clayton. The only clearance Jay Clayton has is a law enforcement clearance. We even double-checked it last night to be sure. He's got a law enforcement clearance. He doesn't have a national security clearance. He's never been involved in
But
national
he's been
security.
with the SEC. Oh, wait, Clayton or Pulte?
Clayton.
Clayton's been with the SEC,
No
though.
national security experience. He was at the SEC, and then he went to
was an
Southern
attorney.
District of New York,
Yeah.
where he has a public trust
Yeah.
law enforcement clearance.
Things are good.
So he's got no more credentials than Pulte, but Pulte's suddenly a match made in heaven for DNI.
So what Trump finished up saying is, says, what kind of deal is that? Besides, I'm against FISA if it doesn't come with the Save America Act, and he said full version in parentheses, firmly attached to it. Make America great again. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So FISA.
Okay, the other thing to remember too, and it's in that other segment, is that the FISA extension has 50 reforms in it to prevent them from spying on American citizens. So what are the politicians saying? We want stronger protections against them spying on American citizens. So knowing that the RISA Act is incorporated into the FISA, what they're really saying to you is we want to prevent them from looking at our communications.
Oh gosh, he is really fucking with them. Trump is toying with them, and it's glorious.
Like a cat with a mouse.
Before I play this Fincham clip, I just wanted to say hello to everybody.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's so good to see Dana Shell, Tracy 17, Marissa, Karen Huber. I think I even saw an I Am Taylor out there, and 1T operator Dana Shell, Aaron Pauling. Just the Truth. Let's see. Ann Boyer. Good to see Ann Boyer out there. The lovely. And shout out to Patriot DGL. Who else? There's I Am Taylor. Snackums. SJ Levine, 47. Welcome. Gizmo's mom. Hello, Gizmo's mom. And there's the sober lady, 77. Good to see you. Welcome in, everybody, over on Rumble. And, of course, wait, did I miss? Good to see Ben's Wire Croft. Did I miss? Let's see, make sure I didn't miss any. I hate it when I miss. All right. And then, of course, over there on pill.net, Chris Doom. What's up, Chris? GG, Tracy, PCB. Hey, there's S. Jones, 39, and Dixie. Missed you too, Dixie. Good to see you, love. Trump Red Pill. Who else we got lurking out there? No Fake Contract, Gracie Thomas. GG says, I thoroughly enjoy Sean's laugh. Thank you, GG. God bless. Tammy Lamb, Henry 45, Ohio Kimmy. Let's see. It's a May, Band Mom, Texas. And then we got a couple of gold pills. Oh, wow. Look, you guys are crushing the gold pills right out the gate. Thank you to Dixie with the shades. God bless you, Dixie. And thank you to Just Fed Up. Thank you for the shades as well. And shout out to Ohio Kimmy with the cookie. PJ Swank with the cookie says, hey, Feisty and Sean. It is getting good, to say the least, PJ Swank. Stand by, because we got a hell of a show in store for you. And then Mountain 17 comes in hard with a $10 Rumble rant. Mountain 17 says, I love to be laughing. Feisty's research was ahead of all of this. Guys, we've been months, if not well over a year ahead of all of this. And Mountain 17 says, love you too. God bless you, Mountain 17. Good to see Waffle House Queen.
It feels good, doesn't it, Sean, to have the research validated?
It does, and it's almost like confusing on how to really approach it with people, because...
Yeah. Well, not confusing is how do you approach it with people when there's no public information to prove your theory?
And people have such short-term memory that they don't remember when you said something.
When it all comes through, it's like, I told you about this stuff. Yeah. They're like, no, you didn't.
I've had people totally forget I was the one who told them, and they said that they thought they discovered it. Mm-hmm. That's happened to me so many times.
I don't know whether to take that as a compliment or not, though, because it means I put an earworm.
I don't even care, because at the end of the day, as long as they're waking up to what's going on. People are seeing it. My father is a perfect testament to it. He doesn't play all those games, thankfully, but he's like, holy shit. He even said it to me over the week. Holy shit, you were right about this. You were right about that. You were right about this. Oh my, it gives me chills just thinking about it right now.
The fact that he can see what you... I sit here all the time and I think to myself, my God, talk about the veracity of the research. I always said my research will have to stand on its own feet. Well, it's not just standing, it's doing a jig.
The two-stepper.
Yeah, I can't believe how seamlessly it's all coming together.
So what does Mark Fincham and Sinchfield discuss
So this
here?
is an older segment. This is from
Act
I
Blue
wanna
under
say it was
investigation for money laundering.
Yeah, I want to say
sure?
this is from March or April because he talks about Pam Bondi, and Pam Bondi left DOJ in the beginning of April.
Too late. They've all been caught. The mortgage scam discussed here would have been found by Pulte, and Clayton will be their worst nightmare. That's what you said, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, let's see what they have to say.
Listen to this. It's a 5-minute segment, but it's really good.
Okay.
And it pulls together everything I've been showing everybody.
All right. Here we go.
Tell me, magic mortgages. What in the world is this, Senator?
So we have this architecture that when you buy a house, generally it goes into escrow. You have a title company that handles the escrow, and there are a number of documents that go into it. So just at a broad scale, let's imagine you buy a house. Grant Stinchfield buys a house for $200,000, and it's funded by one of the North American banks. We'll just say Wells Fargo. Please don't sue me.
Yeah.
All the records, including the mortgage, the deed of trust, the Alta insurance policy, all of those records are recorded in the county record. Then just a few minutes later, your $200,000 house suddenly has a $200 million magic mortgage that comes through. It's nothing but a wire that goes through the title company. There's no lender involved because it's a hard money loan, what they call a cash hard money loan. But because it goes through a title company, there's no notation of who the lender is. And it goes on through the system. Now, what's interesting is, and this is what caught our attention, these are Act Blue officers, corporate officers.
What?
Once we found one, it led to another and another and another and another. So we have them all over the nation.
Explain it again.
And this is just one small fragment of the human map. You leave this digital dust, if you will. This is one small fragment.
Wait a minute. Act Blue has just been brought up for questioning on the floor in the House last week.
Pled the fifth the entire day.
Time. Not initially.
Even to her own name.
She was willingly going to be participating, but then the Act Blue got their hands on her, I guess, and then encouraged her to plead the fifth. Her lawyers did. So, but what Act Blue is being investigated for, too, is foreign
campaign fraud.
But in foreign money. So
I've shown you where they were taking in foreign money because their website.
But what's that got to do with mortgages?
Well, let me keep going.
Please.
Their website took in foreign money by bypassing the address requirement.
Oh my gosh!
It was on their own website.
They're using mortgages to hide
so that money
the foreign
comes
donations.
in through Act Blue. Act Blue then takes that money, that bulk money.
And
because remember, when
mortgages.
you go to Act Blue, you could pick who you want that money to support. So then Act Blue was taking that bulk amount of money and forwarding it to these title companies.
Holy cow!
And they could do it under the radar because it was under the guise of the Sharia compliant mortgage.
Oh wow! And
you could see that whole thing. There's no record. There's no hard record because it is cash. So that cash gets brought in. This is why Trump put in the beneficial ownership. This is why Scott Bessent is changing the 990. And this is why Act Blue is under. Act Blue, if you recall, the Democrats are going after WinRed. WinRed is a very different situation. Couldn't be more different. In WinRed, if you made a donation, particularly to Trump, anything going through WinRed, they automatically checked the boxes so that it was a recurring donation. Mm-hmm. And people complained because they couldn't stop the donations. They were not getting anywhere with stopping the donations. Investigated, $121 million returned. The case is largely under federal oversight now for like 7 years. The Act Blue case is a completely different situation. This is going to send people to prison for potentially treason, number one, depending on who that money's coming from. But it is a severe legal issue that will probably upend Act Blue in the end.
What about accepting the money, though, too?
Well, they're not just accepting it,
but
they're
can
a
they
conduit.
be held culpable for accepting?
Yeah, they're a conduit, so they're
funds.
giving aid and comfort, right?
So any candidate who accepted money from Act Blue, just by simply accepting it, can they claim?
Well, that gets back into
ignorance?
these fraudulent mortgages. You can't claim ignorance on a. Remember, we're talking conspiracy here that makes that property forfeitable, and it's not covered under I didn't know. It doesn't matter.
Damn, they are so screwed. They are so screwed. Okay, there's a little bit more.
You have all of these gigantic financial transactions. Now the question becomes, how do they funnel that back into the campaigns?
And I just gotta say, I've never seen Fincham look so. I'm usually accustomed to seeing him look flustered. Well, flustered and
he's looking
angry,
very comfy
in an angry way, but he looks a little bit
right
more
now. He's got
comfy.
that gotcha look.
Yeah, he kind of does.
Now, who do you think he's been working with if he's going to be discussing mortgages?
Bill Pulte.
Think hard.
Bill Pulte.
Yeah. And what did Pulte say? I was not prepared
for the amount of fraud. Yeah.
For the amount of fraud in the mortgage and insurance industry. Oh,
Yep.
let's bring this full circle.
Yeah.
What has Vance's weaponization, the fraud task force they set up, what has that come from full circle to? It's now going after the institutional level, the insurance companies and such. So it's not just the Leering Center. Now they're going after where they've been misusing federal grants. I responded to you with the post you put in saying this is disingenuous to say that FEMA was aiding migrants. No, those are federal grants.
Stephen Miller clip?
Yes.
Stephen Miller. Oh, okay. All right.
So, but what it's doing, and people got to learn to read between the lines and understand. When you've got a mechanism that takes federal dollars, your tax dollars, right? Because it's why we pay the federal tax. Takes your federal tax dollars and then block grants it back to the states. And then just to make sure that our asses are covered, we pass a law in 2023 to prevent the feds from auditing what the states do with that money. You can do whatever the hell you want and not get caught. Trump comes in, reverses that whole thing, and the task force they're going to the institutional level now. Specifically going after insurance. You're going to hear a lot more come out.
They are having to cover their asses on multiple fronts at this point. Okay, not just with fraud, but widespread fraud, and the dreaded word that they love to use with regards to elections. Right? You don't have any evidence of widespread fraud. Well, first of all, you don't need widespread fraud in order to.
You don't need widespread fraud to be fraud, and fraud vitiates.
Right,
so shut up.
Right. So shut up. But so elections is one, right? Tax fraud, or just fraud on hospice care, the autism, the feeding our futures.
You've also, think about it, you got SNAP, you got food stamps, you've got
now
Medicare, Medicaid,
right, and SPLC now as well.
SPLC is under a world of hurt because they're kind of one of the integrators. They provided. Remember how the LCCHR Influence Network worked? SPLC provided the legal cover, right?
Are you sure about that?
SPLC was the arm they used along with the ACLU. I mean, you're going to see more.
I was going to say the ACLU would seem more legal cover
SPLC
than
did the same thing.
Or the ADL.
SPLC would also use the legal arm. That's how they were able to get integrated into
I
the
see what
federal
you're saying.
government.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
how.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you're going to see more come out, but it's what it's doing. Everything that's coming out connects to all of the things before it, and you're building this massive picture that I don't think the Democrats can get around. So who do they trot out? Warner.
I think he trusts himself out there. Honestly, he is really, really nervous.
Yeah, he's really concerned about what's in that FISA
he's
database.
gotta be. Oh yeah.
Is that the small dollar donations that we see that show up at some lady's house and she's donated to Act Blue 52 times and she knows nothing about it?
Well, that's just one small aspect of it. So James O'Keefe, got to give that guy credit with the whole smurfing piece that he's done. And we got to be careful about what we're calling this. This is a research project because we're not licensed investigators. We want to make sure that people understand that this money is going into organizations that this architecture was set up by Barack Obama to spread cash around the country and to put money into political action committees, into non-government organizations, to fund candidates, to set up the whole architecture for a public relations machine, read basically propaganda machine, to promote
SPLC.
The whole concept that we're a team, we've got great funding, it's all behind us. So here in Arizona, for example, the Arizona Democrat Party, not more than about 5 weeks ago, it replaced their chairman because their fundraising is 25% of what it was last year. Whoa,
big deal.
where did all the donors go? So what we're talking about here, Grant, is wholesale fraud, where the money is distributed by Act Blue officers. And now, because we're not federal law enforcement, we don't know exactly where it went. But that's why we've turned it over to U.S. attorneys.
And that brings me to the real news, I guess, is that you have handed this over to the Department of Justice. What has been their response of taking the evidence? We'll call it evidence because, nothing's been proven yet. I'd like to get Act Blue's response on all of this. But you turn over this evidence to DOJ. What do they say to you?
We are now engaged in conversations with a number of U.S. attorneys, former U.S. attorneys, lawyers who are not yet confirmed U.S. attorneys. So there is great interest. I've got to believe that Attorney General Pam Bondi has forwarded this out to the folks that are the financial crimes folks. And by the way, it wasn't just the AG. We also sent it to the IRS Criminal Division and to the FBI. So Director Patel also has this.
Damn. Okay.
Okay, so now you're starting to see how the whole thing comes together. We don't know where the money went. You get this
they're
foreign
broke.
money.
They are in debt. Matter of fact.
Well, because there's no donors now. They're losing.
How is that the case?
Because they're the donors, and we've watched it. How many times did you have to see reports about how Democrats were bleeding to the Republican Party? How many times did we see where there was this massive shift from Democrat registrations to Republican registrations? So the domestic pool of money was drying up. It increased the foreign pool of money, that foreign pool of money. And I've shown you where, do you need to see it again? I have shown you several times where on Act Blue's own website, they, hold on, let me grab it. I'll show it to you again. On their own website, there you go. And by the way, Covington Burling, they have to pay for their services with Covington Burling. That's who their lawyer is. So wait a minute, there it is. Or where is it? Where's the Diggs folder?
Establishing the task force to eliminate fraud. Establish.
That's the task force JD Vance is heading up.
Yeah. And then full scale
there's
war
a fact
on fraud.
sheet that comes after that.
Okay. Yeah, I get
and then
that.
below that, the third link is to their actions that they've been taking.
The full scale war on fraud. Yeah. Got that. Okay, this is all on Iran stuff. We'll get to that.
That's Iran.
We'll get to that
But
in a
if
little
you
bit.
look, if you look at the third link, if you scroll down, you'll see that they kind of stopped talking after May 21st.
May 26th, yeah. President Trump and Vance are unleashing an unrelenting full-scale assault on the fraudsters, scammers, and corrupt operators who have looted billions from American taxpayers. And then you want me to go where?
No, go all the way down to the bottom. Look at the last date. May 21st.
Department of Justice charged 15 individuals in a wide-ranging Minnesota healthcare fraud scheme on May 21st, including the highest loss amount ever charged in a Medicaid case in the state and the largest autism fraud scheme ever prosecuted.
Okay, so where are we getting at? You're talking autism there. This is a big hint, by the way. That's block grant money. Why haven't we seen anything since May 21st? Well, because they've institutionalized the fraud audits. They're going after the state
institution?
They're going at, in particular, they're going primarily after the insurance agencies, the intermediaries, right? They're going after all of those.
Okay. They're going after the institutions. Okay.
Right. The ones that, remember we had the big deal that came out with the COVID billing, which was money laundering?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Same thing here.
I'm just looking here real quick at justice.gov.
The very last thing I dropped to you is from Act Blue's own website. I am an international donor trying to give to a nonprofit, but I'm having trouble entering my address. And they tell you, just go past it. It's not a required field.
Okay, this one right here.
Yeah, it's not a required field.
I'm an international donor trying to give to a nonprofit, but I'm having trouble entering my address. Oh, so that's Act Blue they're trying to donate to, right? International donors can give to nonprofits, including both 501c3s and 501c4s through Act Blue Charities and Act Blue Civics, which are both part of the Act Blue family of organizations. Didn't they take off that option?
Mm-hmm. They were forced to.
But
this is up on their Q&As, up on their own website.
Oh, I got you.
I've been trotting this around since 2020. It was still there a couple months ago when I went and looked.
Your donations will go straight through without entering your address. Donations to nonprofits. Okay, now they have to. Do they take that option down?
No,
it's still up
I don't
there?
know if the option. I haven't tried to put a donation through Act Blue, but that answer was still on their website a few months ago, which told me that they were under investigation. By the way, because what's the first thing that happens when you're under investigation? It's a data lock, right? You can't. You're under a federal requirement to retain data.
And you said huge difference between the two cases. When Red faces only financial penalties, while Act Blue faces being closed down and prison time because internal compliance warnings showed Act Blue executives knew knowingly their fraud vetting systems were failing. The DOJ is likely prosecuting individuals for knowing and willful violations, hence they're pleading the fifth and meeting the cases before a grand jury. If a federal court finds Act Blue structurally operated as a conduit for systemic illegal foreign election interference, prosecutors will seek asset forfeiture and corporate dissolution. IOW, a RICO case.
Major. Yeah, Act Blue is in big trouble. So last week there was the hearing with the CEO from Act Blue. And
okay.
They even tried to trick her into saying what her real name was, and she even pled the fifth on that. So Covington Burling's got a tight leash on these people from saying anything.
Yep.
It's really interesting to be watching what's going on because that feeds directly in to the mortgage situation that Fincham told you about, to what Bill Pulte told you he was not prepared to see the size of it, to the fact that you got Congress rats very afraid that Pulte would get a hold of the foreign communications. Are you seeing the whole thing just come together?
Yes. Oh, and it is glorious. I got to tell you, it's so beautiful. This is how beautiful it is. Beautiful it is. This just dropped. A little bit of breaking news for everybody. California Governor Gavin Newsome says Department of Justice says Department of Justice is investigating him. Listen to what Feisty, this is glorious. You got to hear this if you haven't heard this yet. This just dropped about an hour ago, guys. Take a listen to this.
No, I haven't heard it.
In recent days, federal agents have knocked on the doors of family, friends, and former employees, not because they found a crime, because they're simply trying to find one. They're demanding records. They're abusing the grand jury process, digging through years and years of random documents. Donald Trump isn't just coming after me because of my mean tweets. He's coming after me because I'm considering running for president, because he hates that I've consistently called him out over and over again for his lies and deceit. Donald Trump is simply the most corrupt president in American history. He's turned the levers of government into his own personal power ministries to reward cronies and to try to jail his opponents. His personal attorney now runs the Department of Justice, which has repeatedly gone after his political enemies. Ask Jerome Powell. Sent them after James Comey, Tish James, Adam Schiff. He sent them after Tim Walz, and a woman that a jury found Donald Trump had sexually abused. One by one, anyone who has challenged Donald Trump has ended up on his hit list. And today, I proudly join that list. After calling for my arrest last year, Donald Trump directed his Department of Justice to investigate me. And just in the last week, I've learned that his campaign has reached my own home. To get me, he's coming after my wife, Jen, a public servant, a woman who's dedicated her life to supporting women and girls, someone who has done nothing wrong other than having the temerity to advocate for what she believes in. If they can't intimidate me, they'll go after the mother of our children. Donald Trump picked the wrong target. We have nothing to hide. His political operatives can take every record and read every page, but they'll be looking in the wrong place. Because if they really want to find corruption, look no further than 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Donald Trump is selling the presidency. He's running the largest cash heist in American political history, trading foreign tariff relief for approval of his golf courses, day trading behind the Resolute desk, reaping hundreds of millions of dollars in personal profit. And he's doing it openly. He's doing it on camera. He did it last night on the White House lawn. He's doing it through cryptocurrencies. He's doing it through the receipt of a $400 million private jet from a foreign government that he plans to keep when he leaves office, through his son's ventures in countries where his own administration is simultaneously making policy. His personal fortune has skyrocketed by $4 billion since making his return to office. This is the behavior of a regime, not a republic. The White House has become a marketplace for sneakers and coins and watches, cologne, guitars, Bibles, and phones.
You guys hearing that projection out there?
Influence for sale, access
That's all they ever did.
for sale.
That's all they ever got.
And today, my family and I can personally confirm that justice is for sale. To Donald Trump, who I know is watching because he watches everything, I have a message for you. You can subpoena my records. You can investigate me. You can harass me. Put my name on every and any enemy's list you have, but leave my wife and family out of your personal
Guess where the money
vendetta.
got funneled?
I'd like to say something to my wife. These times are not normal. They're not ordinary. I love
Follow
you.
the wives.
And I'm sorry he's doing this. You have not earned a single one of the indignities that he's trying to inflict on you and our children. And to Donald Trump, this country does not belong to you. It does not belong to your cronies. And we're going to fight your lawlessness. And we're going to continue to remind the people of this country of your corruption. That same corruption our founders warned us against as we move to celebrate our 250th anniversary. I'm going to keep reminding Americans of what they warned would happen if a man with no character ever held the office of presidency. So let me say it again. Mr. President, come after me. I'm not going anywhere. And the country
He's
is
really
watching.
worried about what they're looking into.
He
isn't he?
really is where it seems
So
palpable,
could that
doesn't
be
it?
why he and Hunter Biden had the discussion about the 2028?
Oh.
Remember?
We were told to follow the wives, by the way.
Yeah,
everybody.
we were told how many times?
Melissa Schiff. You got
And
Lisa
he is going
Barsumian.
off about them going after his wife.
Yup. Date of promotion.
There are no quinky dinks.
You got Post 247 talking about HRC emails, data promotion of wife, Wiener laptop. How do they stack the deck? Who do they want inside the government? What are puppets? How do you control a puppet? Number 2, an FBI wife connection. What is the pattern? Follow the wives. Follow
need any
the
more?
wives. No, I don't need it anymore. That's for damn sure.
So we're talking about just go across any plane, right? Because what did Zelensky get? A bunch of houses, right?
Yeah, you brought Zelensky. Yeah, gosh.
And what did Trump just say yesterday? Ukraine's peace deal is on the table now.
And right after that, who did we hear about visiting Zelensky?
Right?
Keir Starmer, right? Who nobody has visited Zelensky more than
In a
Keir
hot
Starmer.
minute, right?
Oh my
He's
gosh.
over there saying, "Don't you dare say a word. We're holding these houses over your head."
Oh my gosh.
Let's bring.
Let's see. By the way, shout out to Sean Joe. Thank you for a couple cookies. God bless you, brother. Thank you, everybody, for the support over there. By the way, if you guys could hit that red pill over on Pilled, hit that like over on Rumble, that is definitely one way to support us. Also, shout out to everybody lurking over on X. How do you want to? Do you want to transition over to Iran, or do you want to keep going on this?
Wherever you want to go. Did we exhaust this one yet?
No. I mean, we can keep going on this.
The hard part about doing what we're doing right now is you're connecting all these disparate stories into one cohesive story. And I don't know that you can over talk that, because a lot of people don't get how everything is connected.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point.
Which gets down to the Iran deal, by the way, but
well, that's where my head's at right now, because you have the seemingly the conclusion, the signing of this Iran deal, which has Vance actually signed it yet? Do we know?
Well, it was digitally signed yesterday.
Yep.
It's the formal ceremony is Friday the 19th. The same day Pulte gets over there.
Oh gosh. Oh my.
And we're expecting an opinion to come out on Thursday from SCOTUS. I'm praying.
Yeah.
It's the slaughter opinion, because that will just be the undoing. That's it right there.
So what I find interesting.
And where's Trump today, by the way?
You're getting ahead of me. That's what I was just about to say. He's at the G7. Where is the G7 though? You know what was brought up in the movie Big Short time and time again? Credit Suisse. Which is located where?
Oh, gee. Switzerland is just a neutral country, though.
Which is something I would like. Both Feisty and I would. Let's get this on the record, okay? This is something that both Feisty and I would love and hope to God that at some point here in the near future we start to hear from the Promethean ladies. Please, ladies, Barbara, Susan Kokinda, if you ever hear this, I highly doubt you will, but start addressing the Brussels angle.
The Brussels piece to this.
Yes.
Because that's what this battle's been about. You can talk City of London all you want.
Yeah.
All they are
Just the plumbing.
is the money behind the sticky power of Brussels.
Yep.
And what we've been dealing with, what Trump has been pincing out, is Brussels. It was Brussels that capitulated that allowed the Iran deal to happen. And what do you got now? You got the lower tier. You got all of these deep states screaming that this isn't a real deal.
And the G7 takes place in Geneva, Switzerland. And there are massive, let's see, there were riots, protests against the G7 in Geneva yesterday, over the weekend, I guess.
Remember why it's a G7? Can we add that piece to it? Do you remember why it's G7? Because we kicked Russia out when they started complaining about bioweapons.
Wait, about bioweapons. Meanwhile, what was just, oh my gosh. Meanwhile, what
no,
did Tulsi?
it doesn't connect, Sean.
what
No,
did-
my head.
Meanwhile, what did Tulsi just disclose the other day?
The connection to the bioweapons. You are at a crimes against humanity piece, right? This is an international thing.
Shit, man. This is
I think we have definitely signaled that we're willing to give up anybody that needs to be given up to make sure we have a real Nuremberg 2.0.
Ooh, like a real one, not just sacrificial lambs.
Not the sacrificial lambs that we saw in the first one.
So this was posted by Fox News at 10:21 a.m. where they said, now President Trump arrives in Geneva, Switzerland for the G7 summit just a day after announcing an agreement to the end of the U.S. war with Iran. Just a day. The day after G7 leaders.
Whoa. Let's full story. Full story. He announces the agreement right down to white smoke coming out of the chimney at the White House. Did you see that?
No. What?
That was the
Come
rage
on.
yesterday. Go look at Benny Johnson's Twitter feed. You'll see it. There was literally white smoke coming out of the
Come
chimney.
on.
Iran peace deal. And this, okay, so full story. So Benny Johnson put out a video yesterday showing Vance's motorcade rushing in to the White House complex.
Yep.
About an hour later, you get white smoke coming out of the chimney, and Trump puts out, we got a deal. It was digitally signed yesterday afternoon. Then you have the fights last night. Resounding success, right?
Oh, huge success.
Massive fireworks display afterwards.
Huge.
Trump immediately then, it was about 2:30 this morning, gets on a plane and heads to the G7. So the man is just going from boom, 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 success, success, success. And what are we doing in Europe? We're going to actually do a victory lap by signing the Iranian peace deal in the formal ceremony in Europe. Talk about a victory lap.
Oh, my gosh. Are you talking about... 'cause I'm not seeing the...
Oh
my
gosh.
Not
It is
seeing
out
the
there.
smoke,
It's
but
on
I'm
Benny
seeing
Johnson's
the
feed.
planes that went overhead, and then
Yes,
the
but go
white
down
smoke
further.
that came from that. I also found it interesting how that storm just
Dissipated. We watched it.
it split
We totally watched it because
right over the event.
We were already getting thunder. There was some signs of lightning. You know how just before a major storm you get that oppressive humidity, the heat,
Yep.
barometric pressure went
Oh,
down.
yeah.
It's like, oh boy, here comes a storm, and then poof, it was gone.
It was like, somebody must have. Oh, there's the white smoke.
Yeah, that is hysterical. That was right before Trump's truth post about the Iran deal.
White smoke. I did not see anything about this.
Yeah, there you go. Watch this.
And there's the white smoke. Yes. The white smoke means that they've chosen a peace deal.
Okay, so can I fully bring this circle
This
together?
is just a conspiracy
what is the white
theory.
What
Come
is
on.
what is the white smoke normally? It's a signature. It's a sign that we got a new pope.
That a deal has been made, right?
Okay, I'm gonna just remind you of a certain football we gave the pope last month.
What?
And the pope gives back an olive branch. In other words, there will be no nuclear weapons in the world when all is said and done.
Oh.
I'm just pointing this out.
Oh,
we will
glorious.
fully be non-proliferated.
How does this man not get a...
How does he not get on top of Mount Rushmore? I don't know.
Well, not
I
only
don't
that,
know.
but how do you not win the midterms? How do you...
I don't know.
You know what? If I were to set this up, Feisty, regarding the midterms, if I were to set this up, if I had some string pulling abilities, what I would do is I would have all these successes. Okay, this Iran deal was just signed.
Just put them in one continuous soundbite.
Oil just dropped off the shelf.
Plummeted yesterday.
And you're going to start to see that hitting the gas pump soon, okay? Imagine this. All summer, as gas prices drop down to below $2. Imagine that, right? A peace deal
$1.87.
is signed. And then now Trump is... because there seems to be some flux between the U.S. and Israel at this point.
I got
Hold
another.
off on that. just the optics of it.
Okay.
Well, just for now, the optics. Okay.
From a deep state perspective, I think you are noticing what you're supposed to notice with the flummoxing coming out of Israel.
And I'm starting to notice. I got this from my mother, and my father that pharmaceutical costs are finally starting to drop. Where they actually
they're plummeting.
They went up for a brief bit there, but
now they're going down.
So imagine all these successes.
But wait. Why do you think that is? If we're institutionalizing the fraud investigations, do you see it? For them to suddenly be dropping since they started?
They're being forced to drop the prices.
They're being forced to drop it because that's another fraud.
Wow.
Remember, they got billions of dollars. Each company got billions of dollars, taxpayer dollars, because the COVID vaccinations were free.
Oh, my gosh. So, again, you have all these successes happening currently, okay?
Right now.
And, I mean, I'm talking successes that we have never, ever seen before.
Right.
And then imagine them quote, winning the House in the midterms. That's what I would do, is I would allow them the space to feel comfortable so they could steal it.
Let's take that dream just a little bit further. What have we been seeing be put on the record in the last few weeks in the Senate? The holdouts, right? The captured senators, right?
Yes.
Okay. So imagine.
But Trump just said that they're moving the nominations too fast.
Yeah.
The Senate.
Well, they're moving Pulte because they're scared of Pulte. So they're moving Jay Clayton they're railroading him through the system. In less than a week, we're going to have a DNI if they get their way. I would like to see, I don't know, just a hair of a delay so that Pulte at least gets the weekend, because it seems that's all he needs.
Well, it's got to be done before the 30th, right?
No.
Because that's Tulsi's last day is the 30th, isn't it?
Yeah, but Pulte's on board on the 19th.
Regardless of whether or not they nominate...
whether or not they nominate Jay Clayton.
Oh.
Trump moved his start date up to the 19th. That's Friday. And what
He's
I was
already
pointing
got
out,
clearance then, no?
that has to be.
Holy shit.
So in
Bill
other
Pulte
words,
has clearance?
He has to. So Jay Clayton will get his clearance once he's confirmed, right? They will fast track it because of the background checks.
Okay.
Pulte hasn't been through any of that, which means he had to have started the clearance process before he was even nominated. A priority clearance takes anywhere from 30 to 60 days. So that's not out of the realm of possibility.
Mm-hmm.
But they're so desperate to prevent Pulte from sitting in that seat on Friday. Now, let me just point out, Friday the 19th, that's between pay periods. You know, when do you normally start or end an employment?
Beginning of a pay period.
Beginning or end of pay period.
Mm-hmm.
It's between pay periods. It's between reporting cycles. The Fed is coming out with their interest rate on Wednesday. It's on a Friday. Who does that on a Friday? You do that on a Monday.
You do that on a Monday.
So obviously he only needs a couple of days inside that 702 database.
Oh my gosh.
And so Warner comes out and says,
gosh.
we're going to get him confirmed by the end of the week. Uh-huh.
So Trump is
got your
forcing
number,
their
sucker.
hand.
Yeah. Trump played this one
Oh my
exceedingly
gosh,
well.
this is genius. Me too.
It is, isn't it?
This is breaking my brain. I don't even know what to think about this. This is incredible. And
for what it's worth, I don't think Tulsi's done. What she put out with the bioweapon stuff is stuff I've known about for years.
Yeah,
in fact, I've been talking in my chat room about all the posts I've made.
But it puts it on the record now.
Well, if you look at what she put in there, look at where she went. You're sitting there going, okay, she's going after the fascist piece to it, because she even mentioned Black and VTech, which is the entity that ran the Odessa lab. That was the first lab that Russia took control of, which is why Victoria Nuland was so upset.
Oh, yes.
And it was from that lab that the general who collected that information made it public. He ended up being murdered by a bomb. Remember the Russian general?
Yes.
He was murdered.
Oh, my gosh.
So they found some actionable information in that lab. That's run by Black and VTech. That was one of the documents Tulsi threw, just happened to add to her 4 pages of released information. And where does that go right back to? That gets back to DITRA and DARPA, those military contracts that were all housed at the U.S. Embassy in Kyiv. She talks about in her release about weaponized bats. It's like, I know about the bat program. I've got a post I've had out since March of 22 about that bat program. They weaponized bats by feeding them ticks that were altered.
Holy cow.
And then they started what they called a bat program in Kyiv so that children wouldn't be afraid of bats. And they had the children handling these bats. That was in Kyiv.
Oh my gosh. But still, a lot of people suspect there was a lot of fake just propagating that made it all seem so real when it wasn't real.
Tulsi just told you that wasn't fake.
Which gets back to knowingly. Hey, we got a $20 Rumble rant from the great Trump Country USA. Oh my gosh. Trump Country USA says, thank you all for your prayers. Let's keep Trump Country and her husband in prayers. She says, my husband had the biopsy. The cancer in the lobe of his right lung has grown from 4 inches to 4.3 centimeters to 4.3 centimeters. Now we wait for the determination on what's next. Everybody, prayer warriors out there. We pray for one another here. That's what we do. That's why America Rising, right? Rising tides lift all ships. Keep Trump Country and her husband in full prayer, if you could, please. Trump Country, make sure you check out Feisty's. Her and her husband have a great spiritual show that they do, as well as Cup of Hope with Bray's Piano.
Cup of Hope with,
where they pray for one another. So, and guys, I gotta tell you, I can't believe the younger me never saw the impact of prayer. I can't believe I look back in my life and I'm like, I miss so many God nods here and there and all these. I see now how much prayer really works. So God bless.
Well, it's good because now you're a stronger warrior for Christ.
That melts my heart to hear that.
But it's true.
Definitely how I want to be remembered.
When you can directly look back and say, oh yeah, if that doesn't make you a stronger warrior for Christ, I don't know what does.
I get some goosebumps just thinking about it. So, if you don't, Trump Country, if you want to drop your husband's name, I know, names that really does help, but you'd obviously not compelled to. So, but thank you for the $20 Rumble rant as well, Trump Country. So,
I'm just in a good mood. Can you tell?
You should be in a good mood.
I think things are looking pretty darn.
They certainly are. I'm wondering because so I watched that movie. I played that movie last night, and again, you and I especially have got to play.
I am happy to do that. I love that movie.
And I keep catching little things more and more every time I watch it. If for anyone who doesn't know what The Big Short is, it's a movie. It's got all sorts of big actors in it. Brad Pitt. It's got Christian Bale, many others. And it's about the bubble. It's about the mortgage, the housing market crash in 2008. It actually goes
it's the
to
derivative
2007,
issue.
right? And this thing called CDOs, which is all
Credit default
bullshit.
swaps.
Yeah, it's all bullshit. It's all fraud. And so one thing that one other thing that I've learned is that Mark Carney specifically has himself attempted on 4 different occasions to destroy the dollar, the U.S. dollar.
Right, directly.
And I look back at that time, I'm like, wow.
And just remember where he was. Where was he?
He was with the
Crown
Bank of England.
prosecution, remember?
Oh, he was. Yeah, he was the CPS. Yeah, Crown Prosecution Services. Thank you, Dal, with a $5 Rumble rant. Just know, Sean, when you're a stronger warrior for Christ, you get attacked by evil. Be prepared, please, hon. Oh, I embrace that. Believe me, which is why, Dal, I often talk about how to respond to evil and the power of earmuffs, Feisty. The power of forgiveness. Yep. Okay, you can take those earmuffs off now. Yeah, I'm a wise ass. I'm sorry.
Crack me up.
So, Mark Carney.
I fail to see
Do you
how
not
my
see?
desire for retribution means I haven't forgiven anybody. I have yet to make that link.
Surrender it. Leave it to God for retribution.
I said, "Dear God, stop the madness." And I spun around and said, "But let me watch." And I am watching.
You don't have a choice but to watch.
I am watching with glee. Doesn't mean I haven't forgiven.
So I'm watching this movie again last night, and I'm realizing, because I was totally disconnected at this period of time. I had no idea. 2008. How old was I? See, I graduated in 2000. So 18.
You were
2000.
28?
I was 26.
Okay.
26 in 2008. So I wasn't paying attention. All right.
You were doing your own thing.
I was doing my own thing. But now when I look back at it, that was totally an attempt to destroy the dollar.
Mm-hmm.
And
remember I said
did Carney
to you,
play a role in that himself?
Yeah, they all, the city of London did.
And then Alan Greenspan too? They knew they had to have foreknowledge that they were going to bail out those banks.
But I think the bailout needed to happen. Had they not bailed out those banks, and this is my research is showing this, had they not bailed out those banks, we would have been destroyed already. That was the thread that kept us together while everything else happened.
Seems very Hegelian to me.
Well, right after that, you get the LIBOR scandal, which is part and parcel what created the problem. Remember 2012, you find out about Zanjani, you find out about LIBOR, and it took till 23 to full transition to SOFR, which put control back in the Treasury.
And when did Bitcoin enter the equation?
2009 with the smartphone.
Which a lot of people, I don't think a lot of people speculate, or maybe a lot of people do speculate, but I don't think a lot of people
totally
consider.
Get that.
I don't think they consider the NSA connection.
Well, we know, and this isn't a Bitcoin or an XRP discussion, but we know NSA was very acutely involved. We also know Mike Rogers is a cryptologist.
That's right.
That's his background.
Yep.
And we also know that David Schwartz, who was CTO at Ripple, started a contract with NSA because he had a blog about it. So, you just can't dismiss all of that.
This is why anybody who's tried to use something like Bitcoin.
I also want to point out that all of this came out after the Vatican joined Interpol. Then you have the 2008 crash. And what was going on with the Vatican?
Which affected things globally, too, by the way.
Yes, because if you just tie that knot, okay, you had Saudi money from the Wahhabists in the Saudi government. Saudi money go through the money changing system in the Institute of Religious Works, through them because it didn't have a banking charter, to the CIA that created 9/11. That's what I'm saying. 9/11 was the marker. 2008 was a very big crisis point. And what was going on? We were starting to implement those things necessary to prevent the breakdowns that created the 9/11 circumstance. So then we have this crash, the housing crash, which just happens to direct connect to what Fincham just told you about.
So, by the way, for anyone wondering, I'm not saying, I don't know, I can't confirm or deny for that matter whether or not the NSA was behind the creation of Bitcoin. I highly suspect it was. That's just my suspicion. And I'm not saying whether or not that's good or whether or not that's bad. I kind of lean more towards it being good than anything, as a method of protection or catching fraud or trying to catch people who are trying to launder money. Right, and backlog it.
You have to have strange bedfellows at some point, right?
Yep.
You have to. If you're going to understand how your enemy is operating, you have to infiltrate your enemy.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. That's right. And then Dal with another $5 Rumble rant and a great question. Dal says, Feisty, you remember Trump said, Dal's getting ahead of me. You remember when Trump said he'd sooner work with Carney during our elections and denied knowing our conservative opponent, Pierre? She thinks something is up.
I'm not going to disagree with that at all. And I think what's going to happen, because when you watch what's going on up there right now, and you got the new world order transporting itself to Canada, I think you're getting a nice, neat little roundup starting. Who's joined Carney? You got Brussels sitting right there. And Anthropic. That gets to the Anthropic story.
Great segue.
They became a part of that.
Great segue. Yep.
Right? You got Anthropic is now part of the new world order. And you've got James Baker from DOJ is a part of the new world order. And what did they just get? A lockout. Why? Because Google found a weakness that Anthropic either refused or couldn't respond to in 90 minutes. So now what do they have? Export controls.
So we'll try.
It's just beautiful how this is all coming together.
I'll do my best to try to break this down and hopefully simplify it so it's easier for anyone out there who's not getting where we're going with this. So it's easier for you guys to digest. Now that leads me to this post here. This from Q, the Storm Rider, says Trump at the G7 summit in Canada. G7 summit in Canada. I thought he's in France. Oh, this is 2000. Calls out Obama and Trudeau for kicking Russia out of the organization in 2014.
I told you about that.
Yes, we were just talking about that. Yeah. All Putin wants is for Russia to be respected and given a seat at the table in what he calls a, quote, multipolar world instead. The West isolated Russia and turned Ukraine into a NATO proxy to fight Russia. I think this is accurate. Mm-hmm. One could argue
that is accurate.
Yeah. Yep. One could argue a soft/cold World War III started in 2014. This is interesting. Mm-hmm. That was the moment the CIA/State Department overthrew and took control of Ukraine, and the West completely isolated Russia. Everything we are witnessing now stems from the catastrophic foreign policy decisions during the Obama regime. And I thought, again,
do you remember that story? What happened?
In 2014?
Yeah, 2013-14. Do you remember what happened?
Yeah, the coup.
The Russian-aligned president was couped.
Yes.
And we installed Poroshenko.
Yeah.
Okay. Why was he couped? He turned down an IMF loan guarantee because he didn't want the strings of Brussels.
That's right. Yep.
And so
that's what gave him a better deal. Right.
Victoria Nuland gets on the phone and they start replacing his cabinet before Poroshenko gets in there. And that's where Biden comes out and talks. I'm sorry.
Was it with Klitschko? Vladimir Klitschko?
No.
I remember her saying Klitsch.
Yatsenyuk.
Oh, Yatsenyuk. Yep.
Yatsenyuk. But what they installed under Poroshenko, they were all Nazis. Every single one of them. Right down to the Nazi hand fist. They were all Nazis. And we spent $5 billion to make that happen. And while we were at it, we added some cherries to the top of that nuclear mess. We forged a bunch of ledger documents from the Party of Regions to put Manafort in prison. What was wrong with that? Party of Regions had been destroyed in that civil war.
Wow.
There was no Party of Regions. So, you're looking at how they needed Ukraine. Ukraine was a money laundering center, right? That's where that comes from.
Yep.
But they also were using it as a proxy to threaten Russia. What did Russia say back in 2014, back in 2010? It started with those dead birds. When did we start putting those labs over there? 2010 and 11. So when Trump says yesterday, peace deal in Ukraine is on the table, that's a spanking to the globalists. It really is.
You imagine 2 peace deals before summer hits.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I hope that's true. I I hope this brings an end to Ukraine.
One peace deal.
And then you've got Zelensky out there publicly saying he's ready to make a deal.
He's saying that in the face of right after meeting with Keir Starmer?
I don't know. To be very honest, I don't know.
Because I am curious too.
Keir Starmer is nervous. I think Zelensky said that first. He said that a while ago.
Yeah, he must have said it
He's
first.
ready to make a deal. And I
Yeah.
think Keir
And
Starmer,
then
because
Keir
of the Iran
Starmer.
deal, is like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Right?
And then I don't know how you feel about Pompeo, but eagerly he posted 5 hours ago, eagerly awaiting the text of the deal between the United States and Iran. We have achieved an enormous amount with our military campaign. I pray that any settlement preserves those sacrifices and secures the interests of the American people. But Mike Pompeo, the man many think was the most loyal cabinet member in President Trump's term, seemingly revealed his true colors on June 8th.
Because he mentioned he was working with MI6.
He professed his devotion to Alex Younger. Who is Alex Younger, Feisty?
He's MI6.
The head of MI6.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So?
That strikes me as City of London.
Maybe.
Is that his loyalty? Was he professing his loyalty to the City of London?
I read his post a couple, 3 times. You can take it pro and negative, right? Pro and con.
Why would he do that?
Do you think
it
the
seems
unraveling
weird to me?
Do you think the unraveling is happening at the diplomatic level, or is it happening below the diplomatic level? What did they install? They always install puppets. And for the first time in Trump's first term, we have no puppets, right?
This seems to be eliminating them, yeah.
But you're coming down to the second string. So far, everybody implicated is second string. So my question is, was Pompeo releasing his colors? Or was Pompeo saying, hey, we had to work together? Because I think the latter is equally true.
Yeah, because you wouldn't, this is, again, a perfect area where I would encourage everybody to remove any emotional attachment that you may have to somebody being good or bad. A movie that I'm considering playing this upcoming Sunday is a movie called In the Gray. In the Gray. What do you think that's all about?
Playing in the middle, right?
Yes, which I think you guys all need to consider resetting who you think is good, who you think is bad. Not everybody, but, some of these major players. Maybe just reset and look at them more objectively. If you would have looked at Scott Bessent years ago, how would you have looked at him? Yeah, he worked for Soros. Right?
He worked for Soros. You
wouldn't have seen him as a white hat.
No.
Right?
No.
How about Rubio?
Same thing.
Same thing, right? What about Pompeo?
I'm saying the same thing.
Go back years ago. You would have thought he was a white hat. And now he says things like, why would you post that on social media? It's easy to jump on he is swinging for the...
He's a good guy, he's a bad guy,
but we bad guy swinging for the City of London. Come on. Hold on. You got to
and I'm just saying,
read between the lines on this one, right?
I don't know that post says good or bad.
I don't know.
Granted, either. When you look up Younger and you find out he became head of MI6 in 2014. Okay, so that's before the Trump spying effort.
Yep.
But was he in charge of it, or were elements within MI6 in charge of it?
Good question.
It wasn't Younger that resigned in 2017. It was the guy below him.
Here's another way to look at it. Could it be that Pompeo is trying to earn their trust into thinking that he's working on their behalf? And infiltration, doesn't that work both ways?
Yeah, but I have to tell you, he did too many things during the first term that say to me that it would be a hard road to earn trust. He unraveled a number of things. So I don't know where to go with this. I'm not pro or con.
But keep watching, essentially.
Keep watching. So, like I said, Younger, he was there from 2014 to 2020. And Pompeo would have had to work with him. Right?
Just like Gina Haspel?
Pompeo was CIA in 2017. He didn't become State Department until later.
Just like Gina Haspel.
just
Right.
like Gina Haspel. Gina Haspel was chief of station over there. MI6 is your direct peer.
Yeah. So here is, again, so this must be recent. Alberta, Canada. Was this, did they go to Alberta first and then France after? I wonder.
I don't know.
Okay, well, I guess.
I honestly don't know.
Trump at G7.
I find it interesting that G7 is in Canada. I don't know if you recall, but in 2018, it was also in Canada.
Alberta,
and Trump had a
especially.
thing or two to say in Canada, as did Mike Pence. Mike Pence.
Yeah.
But Alberta, you mean the region that just filed to leave Canada?
Wants to secede from Canada and join with the United States. Do it, because it's the economic side of Canada. So Canada would be destroyed.
Well, because all the revenue comes from Western Canada and Alberta in particular. They've been greatly victimized by Canadian policy.
Oh my gosh, unbelievably! Shout out to Conservative Chris if he's out there listening. But I find this conversation interesting because he's. Yeah, where would I put Carney in that? I'd try not to look at right, left, black or red. I'm sorry, blue or red, or black hat, white hat. However, Carney is a snake in the grass. I'm fairly
totally
confident in saying that. So I find
So wait a minute, let's get back to
interesting.
the question. I'd sooner work with Carney, right?
That's what
I don't
Dal
think
said,
I don't think Canada's ready for Pierre. But Trump would work with his enemy before he'd work with an unknown any day. He knows he's gotten inside his enemy already.
Yeah.
He knows how to battle him.
He does. He's so good at this. So this is a 50-second, I don't know, with him and Carney.
Together very well. I look forward together very well. I look forward to that. The G7 used to be the G8. Barack Obama and a person named Trudeau didn't want to have Russia in. And I would say that was a mistake, because I think you wouldn't have a war right now if you had Russia in. And you wouldn't have a war right now if Trump were president 4 years ago. But it didn't work out that way. But it used to be the G8, and now it's, I guess, what's that, 8 years ago, it switched over. They threw Russia out, which I claimed was a very big mistake. Even though I wasn't in politics then, I was very loud about it. It was a mistake in that you spend so much time talking about Russia, and he's no longer at the table, so it makes life more complicated. But you wouldn't have had the war. Other than that, I think we're going to accomplish a lot together very well.
Carney's like, will you shut up and hurry up?
Yeah, I wanted to see Carney's body language in this. You could just tell they all inevitably capitulate, it seems. So there was that that was happening. Okay, we got that. G7 leaders will convene in France, where discussions are expected to focus on the Iran conflict, the Russia-Ukraine war, and a range of other global issues. I just, again, find it interesting. Trump is addressing, G7. What does the G stand for?
Global. It's the global coalition. You got the G7, you got the G.
Yep.
Well, it used to be G8. You got the global 20. You know the.
But he's
It's supposed to be a global coalition.
Heads to Geneva, Switzerland.
Geneva. Mm-hmm.
So there's that. Okay, we got that. I apparently also. I don't know if you heard. This is kind of
Heard
breaking.
about this?
This is breaking news. Sad video from Fox News. This just happened at Edwards Air Force Base after the B-52 Strato Fortress crash. Did you hear about this?
Right. Yeah, I heard about it just before we went live.
There's nothing left of this plane.
Okay, got a Fox News alert now. I want to take you out to California, Edwards Air Force Base in Kern County, California.
Oof.
That base has put out the following alert, and it reads like this. A United States Air Force B-52 Stratofortress, that's a huge plane, Crashed shortly after takeoff from the Edwards airfield, 11:20 a.m. We assume that to be Pacific time, which would have been just about an hour ago. The statement continues. Emergency crews immediately responded to the scene. Situation's ongoing. More information will be provided as it becomes available. So you can see there that charred runway, that tarmac in Kern County, California. What we don't know is how many people might have been on board. Crew members, passengers. We don't have an idea just yet. No word on the pilots, whether they're able to get out or not, or even the cause of this. So at the moment, we're in the very early stages, but wanted to share that live picture with you out of California and Edwards Air Force Base.
Damn, that's terrible. Prayers up. I guess nobody survived.
Absolutely bothers me that was such a catastrophic failure.
Nobody survived.
Do we know for sure nobody survived? Did they?
Yeah, no survivors. Yep.
Shit.
Yeah, that's period. It's just terrible news. All right. So continuing the discussion on Iran.
Confirm. I can't help it.
Mark, wait.
You know it's hysterical.
Oh,
we got to confirm him by the end of the week, guys. Hurry, guys. We got to confirm.
Things are getting really interesting. And again, unless you engage or activated as you all are, then I do see how this is not going to be easy for a lot of people to connect all these dots. Because yes, is it all connected, Feisty? Is what we're seeing going on in Iran? Is everything we're seeing going on
all connected.
in Switzerland and in City of London? All the fraud that's being uncovered here in America, not just financial fraud, but election fraud as well. Is all of that connected? It's hard. I could see it. It'd be hard to connect all these dots.
But you can't. Once you see how it is, you can't unsee it. Right?
That's a fact. Yeah, that's a fact.
I mean, that's the greatest thing about watching what's going on right now with this Iran peace deal. When you recognize that it was about Brussels. Remember, the EU tried to prevent the member states from working with Trump. And they basically went, yeah, because the American market was much more important.
That's
so
right.
they blew off Brussels directly. So it was always going to be downhill from there.
That's right. That's right. So we got JD Vance next. I got a clip here of JD Vance joining with the hell's his name? Sucks a lot of bitch. What the hell's his name?
You use nicknames so often you don't even know their names.
Yeah. Stick Knuckle McMilky. I don't know what the hell to call him. All right. He was in Clinton's administration at one point.
Right.
Vice President joins GMA live to discuss the U.S.-Iran agreement announced by President Trump. And there's some interesting points on here. You good for me to play this?
I'm absolutely good with it.
All right.
It's only about 6 minutes, but it's a very good segment. Are we going to go past 6?
Yes.
Okay.
Why, did you need time for something?
No, we just got to talk about Iran.
Oh, yes. All right. Well, this is more on the Iran deal. By the way, shout out to S. Jones. Missed this cookie. She says, Lord, we are... Oh, look, shout out to S. Jones. So sweet. To Trump country, USA. This is how thoughtful everyone is. But shout out to S. Jones, who says, Lord, we are lifting Trump country's husband to you. Heal his lung. Guide the doctors to do good and cause no further harm. Surround the family and let them know that you are there. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen to that one. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Amen.
very considerate and thoughtful of you, S. Jones. God bless. All right.
We are back now with Vice President J.D. Vance to discuss the latest ceasefire agreement in the war with Iran. Mr. Vice President, thank you for joining us this morning. Back on March 6th, about a week into the war, President Trump put out a post on Truth Social saying there will be no deal with Iran except unconditional surrender. So why did he reverse course and agree to this deal now?
Well, George, I don't think he reversed course. I think fundamentally the president's argument was we are going to use the military to exert pressure on Iran, and we're going to get something that is good for the American people, and now we have that. And just to recap where we are, George, Iran's nuclear program is completely destroyed. What this deal fundamentally does is it reopens the Straits of Hormuz. You see oil prices have already come down substantially just in the last 24 hours. But it also simultaneously provides a two-path option for the Iranians. On the one hand, if they continue to try to rebuild their nuclear program, this deal ensures they will never have the resources in order to do that. On the other hand, if the Iranians are willing to give a long-term commitment, along with proper verification to giving up that nuclear weapon, we're willing to welcome them into the world economy, to lift some sanctions, and to turn over a new leaf in that relationship. What the president really wanted to do, not just with the last 6 weeks, but really the last year and a half of Iran policy, is to get us to a place where we could change our relationship fundamentally with the Iranians and ensure that they never have a nuclear weapon. We feel that we're at that place now. We're, of course, going to continue to verify that, continue to negotiate and talk to the Iranians. But this is a big day for the American people, a big win for everybody who cares about basic peace and stability in the Middle East.
Even some of the president's closest allies are raising questions, though, about the agreement. Lindsey Graham, the senator from South Carolina, said, "I'm somewhat concerned that Iran's view of the agreement seems different than what the American negotiating team is claiming right now. There do seem to be some significant differences between what we're seeing in the Iranian media. They say they're going to be seeing release of assets as the agreement is signed. They're not going to sign the agreement unless those assets are released. Is that true?"
No, George, it's not true. And I'd caution Lindsey Graham and anybody else not to believe the hardliner propaganda in Iran, but to believe what's actually in the agreement. But we'll be releasing the text this week. And what everybody will see is that Iran doesn't get a dime of money unless they perform their obligations. And the money that we're talking about is fundamentally sanctions relief. We're not giving them American money. Not a single dollar of American money will go to Iran. But what we are saying, George, is we're willing to give significant sanctions relief if the Iranians make the kind of long-term commitments that are necessary to be a normal country, to give up their nuclear weapons program, to stop funding terrorist activities all over the Middle East. And one of the really interesting things, George, you hear people compare this negatively or positively to the JCPOA of the Obama administration. There are all of these ways I could explain that this deal is fundamentally better for the American people than the JCPOA. But the fundamental difference is that the Gulf Coast Coalition, our Arab partners in the region, they hated the JCPOA because they felt that it emboldened Iran to be a bad actor. They love this deal because they feel that it's going to create a totally new dynamic in the Middle East. That's a great testament to what the president and the entire team has accomplished. Again, we got to verify here, George. This is not going to be a short-term solution. This is going to require a lot of engagement and diplomacy. But if the Iranians meet us, I think this is going to be a totally new direction for them, for the United States, and for the whole region.
Just to be clear, the Iranians signed this deal on Friday. They will not be receiving any sanctions relief, not receive any assets upon signing of this deal?
Well, we already signed the deal digitally yesterday, and there's been no money released, and that won't change, George. Again, this is a performance-based thing. If we see the Iranians making, for example, taking action to eliminate their stockpile of enriched material, then yes, sanctions relief will follow. If we see the Iranians taking action to allow the kind of verification regime that we need to see to know that they're not going to build a nuclear weapon, yes, sanctions relief will follow. So this is really about walking down a pathway here where the Iranians will be welcomed into the world economy if they do the right thing. And George, we have to remember, their economy is fundamentally destroyed. Their nuclear program is fundamentally destroyed. If they don't do the right things, if they don't allow the verification regime, they're never going to have the money to rebuild their nuclear program to begin with. So this is fundamentally a win-win for the American people. What the president has said is he wants it to be a win for the Iranian people as well, but that requires some real trust building and some real positive conduct from the Iranian political system. We're going to see if that happens. If it does, they're absolutely going to find the president of the United States and the entire team a willing partner to make their country more prosperous.
You mentioned the support of the Gulf states. This is not being welcomed in Israel right now. The national security minister for the Israeli government says this is not binding on the Israeli government. The defense minister of Israel says they are not going to pull troops out of Lebanon. Could that complicate the deal?
Well, George, everything's going to complicate the deal, as you know, in this region of the world. Even a ceasefire, sometimes they're a little bit dirty. It goes from shooting a lot to shooting a little to shooting not at all. But what we fundamentally believe is that this is going to be a good deal for the people of Israel, for the people of the Gulf, the people of America, and again, potentially for the people of Iran as well. There's a lot of misreporting. I've seen this in the Israeli media about what's actually in the deal. I think when the people of the region see what's in the deal and see the kind of commitments the President of the United States is making, they're going to see this is good for everybody. Peace and prosperity is good for everybody. That's true for Israel. It's true for Saudi Arabia and UAE and Qatar. That's the kind of deal that we're striking. Yeah, it's going to require some engagement. Yes, you're going to have people within the Israeli system who are skeptical from time to time. That's the work of diplomacy, and we're going to keep on doing it, George.
Mr. Vice President, thank you for your time this morning.
Any thoughts?
There's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah. Where do you start?
First of all, the deal itself. Everything that everybody's been complaining about is captured in there.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the Zerengahom network, the Zerengani, not Zerengani,
Zanjani.
the one that begins with an S. They wanted the $30 billion. Remember that?
Yep.
They're not getting that money.
They're getting $3 billion from UAE.
UAE.
Yes.
Not
from us.
the money that the U.S. has sequestered.
Yep.
Remember, they wanted that money from what the U.S. sequestered.
Yeah, because they weren't
They're not
going to use
getting
that money for the people of Iran. They were going to use it towards...
It's been said many times by the administration that that's being put in escrow to help rebuild Iran.
Yeah.
Once the regime change.
Right.
Okay. Another thing that came out is the whole idea that Khomeini Jr. is a pacifist, which I tend to agree with.
You mean the homo? The homosexual?
Yeah, the missing guy, right?
Yeah.
He's a pacifist. But there's something deeper here. They're talking about they want complete annihilation of the nuclear program. Sitting meters underground, underneath total destruction, doesn't mean you go in and easily extract that. So I agree with Trump on that one. But if we've got eyes in the sky, because Trump has also said we can see the badges of the people that are around that area, we're watching that carefully. I don't think that's going to end. Israel's contention is that they weren't a party to the negotiations. Okay. I think that sets up a nice little verbal, if you will, narrative dichotomy. Israel's already put in security zones. And we've already negotiated with the Lebanese government that is not Hezbollah to do pilot programs with their military under the security zone infrastructure. The only public thing that I could find from Netanyahu is the same thing he's been saying, Trump has been saying for years. Iran cannot have a nuclear program. So what is the issue? Is Iran able to move their operations into Lebanon? I think that's the real issue there.
So did you hear about Lebanon? What Lebanon, the leader of Lebanon just did over the weekend? Banned all IRGC members from entering
That's what
Lebanon.
I told you. And why is that? You've got the security zones, you've got the diplomatic efforts by the U.S., but Trump has already told you that the Lebanese government doesn't want Hezbollah there. So there's other things going on. So the Lindsey Graham component is the concern over Lebanon. Isn't it interesting how we've pivoted from Iran to Lebanon? And that everybody's consternation is over Lebanon. But nobody's really talking about what's been put in place to prevent Hezbollah from rising up again. And nobody's disagreeing with Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. So what it's suggesting is that is the IRGC moving operations to Hezbollah in southern Lebanon, which is a direct threat to Israel. Israel has a concern. That said, all of the public negativity over this current deal isn't coming from Netanyahu. Now, you can argue it's because Netanyahu is so dependent on Trump. But his own cabinet members are the ones doing the talking. The people that are largely poo-pooing this are the people you want upset. And I think we've matured enough in this audience and between us that every country has a deep state that's been captured. Don't you find it interesting that what they're complaining about, even Lindsey Graham, is over the Lebanese piece to this? And they're calling it a paper treaty. But has Trump shown any history where his paper treaties were burnable? No. He's usually held, and he's talking about a bilateral trade deal. He's treating, that's what's so funny about this signing deal, which I'm calling a victory lap. Because he's treating it like a bilateral trade deal, he's locked out the EU from being at the meeting. The UN won't be at the meeting. That's a victory lap. He's thumbing his nose at them. So if we're going to be talking this story, then isn't it wiser to look at who's doing the complaining and looking at their deep state connections?
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, then I found that document you started to listen to.
Think the Iran war is a disaster. Blame the DC think tanks first. Hold that thought. So, in case anybody doesn't believe it, and so when you hear something like, in a stunning move that nobody saw coming, Lebanon's government has imposed a full ban on all Islamic
IRGC.
Revolutionary Guard Corps activities inside Lebanese territory. Security forces ordered to hunt down, arrest, and deport any IRGC members you can put in that same camp. Hezbollah, Hamas, Houthis, ISIS, Muslim Brotherhood,
All of them.
and all of them guys, okay?
Right.
And found operating in there.
This gets to the pilot zones that the U.S. government is working with the Lebanese army on.
So Netanyahu made a statement. Will you strike alone in Iran again, and will you strike independently in Lebanon? There was a question. Well, President Trump and I, here, let me turn this down a little bit. President Trump and I, Israel, we often see eye to eye, and there are also instances where we see less eye to eye. I am responsible for Israel's security interest. I standing to do this wisely requires a lot of experience and a lot of understanding and a lot of familiarity. It doesn't sound to me like he's seeing necessarily eye to eye with Trump. Netanyahu defiantly makes it clear Israel will not withdraw from Lebanon, Syria, or Gaza from RT, despite Israel withdrawal from Lebanon reportedly being part of the new U.S.-Iran deal.
The security zones are in place, and the pilot programs the U.S. is running are meant to back that up.
This is where I think
This is where I think you got to be very careful with the narratives that are out there.
Yes. And this is, again, where in this term's been thrown around really loosely a lot in the last few months, the notion of Israel being saved for last.
Right.
This is
this is the heart of,
yeah.
I mean, you want to watch a deep state crumble.
Yep.
That's where this is, in case you hadn't noticed, we have seen over and over and over again that the friction between Iran and Israel was Western propagated. How do you think you unravel from that? Well, we got rid of the nuclear piece.
Yeah,
we're getting rid of the missile piece.
You put them in an impossible position.
Right. So there are proponents out there. You got a MIC. You've got international
peace.
Security Forces. They don't want the peace, though. How do you make your money?
You have to show that, though. You have to make it so that they put themselves on the world stage, showing the rest of the world that they're not really interested in peace.
Exactly.
And you're going to have an internal inside of Israel.
There's going to be strife inside.
Yeah.
Yes. How do you expose
but keep it
the
in
real
Israel,
players?
though, too. Yeah. That's
now,
right.
I've also made this comment, and I've said it many times. If
That
you're going
makes
to
sense
truly
to me.
have peace, you got to get rid of the faces of war. He's a face of war. I
Certainly.
do think Netanyahu goes away.
Yeah, that's good.
I do think he will not be prime minister.
But Trump is not being the one who's going to be determinative of that. He's putting it
Israelis
all
are
on
gonna have to do
Israel,
it.
right?
Mhm.
Whether they do or don't, I don't.
And
who knows?
what Trump has done, he exposed Iran, he exposed Lebanon, he exposed what's really going on in Gaza and Israel's story.
Yep.
And we all agree Israel has the right to defend itself. I don't think that's a question.
Of course.
But you've got to at some point get bigger than the question and say, well, what's the apparatus behind this? And how can we be sure that this peace deal is different from the others? Well, you start looking at the terms and what's been put out publicly. This is a very different peace deal than the others. But Trump put out a post yesterday. Was it yesterday or was it Saturday? Where it looked like he was saying,
Let's bring in two Victoria Coates.
Oops, sorry. I don't know why.
Where Trump made it look, at least it looked like the way he worded the post, that Netanyahu or the Israeli government was sabotaging the peace effort. That came out yesterday.
Really?
Let me find that.
Wow. And yeah, Catfather P. I already saw Kyle Seraphin trying to throw shade on this Iran deal. Like, what the hell does he know? Screw him, anyways. And anybody who associates with Seraphin. Thank you. Let's see if I can pronounce this right. Leilu or Lalu. For a $25 Rumble Rant, let's go. Is that Leilu? Did I get that right?
Ready to rumble!
Even though I need to re-listen a few times, kudos to you. I am interested and intrigued enough to do it. You are finally answering. I've had questions I've had for years. That's one reason why I love this show that we do here with Feisty. By the way, it's not you don't just have every Monday at 4 p.m. to look forward to yours truly and Feisty. Also Thursdays, everybody. Feisty joins me for the news every Thursday evening at 9:30.
Lifting the veil at 9:30.
Lifting
So let
the
me
veil,
read
yep.
this post from Trump.
Please.
Yesterday morning. I think maybe it was Saturday morning. Wait a minute. The 14th. So that was yesterday. So Trump put out, this morning's attack on Beirut should not have happened, particularly on a special day when we are so close to a peace deal with Iran. Israel has the right to defend itself against threats, but the attack it was responding to was very small and meaningless. Nobody was hurt. In other words, there was an attack. Nobody was hurt, injured, or killed, and should not disrupt this important process. We are very close to a deal that will bring peace to the region,
For him to be doing that when they're so
including
close
to
to a
Lebanon,
deal.
and all sides should stand down. There should be no more attacks by Israel anywhere in Lebanon, but there should also be no more attacks by any other party, including Hezbollah, against Israel. This could be the beginning of a long and beautiful peace. Let's not blow it. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
BB
So
posted yesterday, we attacked in Deha in Beirut targets of terror organization Hezbollah. Israel will not tolerate fire into its territory. And then he says, he announced just 3 hours ago, the permanent occupation of territories in Lebanon. Or 4 or 5 hours ago.
Those are the security zones.
Okay.
And by the way, everybody, we're not talking the entirety of Lebanon. We're talking southern Lebanon. Okay. So what
Arguably
it ended
captured.
up happening is Hezbollah shot a missile into Israel.
Out of
Whether
Lebanon?
it hurt anybody or not is immaterial. Israel struck back.
Yeah.
So calling Israel out is kind of disingenuous because it's Hezbollah that's trying to sabotage the peace deal. Right?
Yep.
And Israel said, F you. Let me show you what this means. And they bombed that site, which that video is all over the place. So I'm not defending Israel. I'm just saying, isn't it time we had the whole story?
Yes.
There is more going on here. And I think what you're dealing with is that deep state component that's been aligned with Brussels.
Is it time now, you think? Or is the time maybe a little bit later?
You know me. I suck at the it's in the plan book. If you see it, you've got to say it. And I do. And I'm just saying that when you've got a global system that is literally on its knees right now, should it surprise anybody that there's hotspots?
No. No, it shouldn't surprise anybody. No.
I expect something to be happening in Ukraine in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, right? Because where do they go? They can't go to Cuba. They can't go to Venezuela. The Western proxies are done. They got the Canadian piece, but we've got Canadians wrapped around our finger. You can try going into Houthi territory, but we've already been escorting ships through Houthi territory. So we've already taken care of Hamas. Hezbollah is next.
Yep.
If anybody thinks that Israel should just stand down because there's a peace deal and then wait for like sitting ducks, I think they'd be crazy.
No.
We wouldn't do it. Why would they?
Especially if you're surrounded by...
Especially when you're surrounded.
You're literally surrounded.
Who was the instigator? It was obviously Hezbollah. Do we agree
is
with
the IRGC.
Right.
Which is City
Which
of
is
London.
the question, did the IRGC remnants, those that really aided and abetted the unrest in the region, did they export to southern Lebanon? I think that answer is a safe yes. Because Hezbollah, if you recall, was their strongest, most funded proxy. I don't think people remember that either.
Man, Jax just sparked something in my mind too. It kind of goes back to something that you've been saying time and time again. All of this does seem to be leading up to the 4th of July, I gotta tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Those victories giving us a reason to celebrate.
Do you know what the goal is on 4th of July? What's going to be signed?
What?
Clarity.
Oh, gosh. Guys, get some XRP while you can.
That money system will be changed, right?
Get some XRP while you can.
Just so we're clear, the Clarity Act doesn't fix everything.
No.
But it does prevent illicit money from getting back into the monetary system.
You got to expose all that fraud first.
You got to expose it. And that fraud is being exposed when you watch what's going on with the housing stuff. Okay, I'm going to just say this. I've had entirely way too much fun watching Warner lose his shit. I get up in the morning looking for his next segment.
I'll never forget when I sent the first clip I sent to you, because we hadn't really discussed the Warner side of things. And then I sent you a clip and I said, have you seen this cat? And you and I just started dying laughing.
I was laughing so hard I had tears in my eyes.
And then it just didn't stop from there. He had done like 3 or 4 clips that day, separate clips of him feigning an appropriate amount of outrage. And then it was the next day, and then the next day, and then the next day.
It hasn't stopped.
No, it hasn't stopped.
He's before every camera he can get in front of. And I'm looking at him going, okay, guy.
Anytime, any individual, I don't care who you are, okay, this is what... It is that behavior, the hyper focus on any one topic or on any one individual
for 2 weeks now,
always is a red flag to me that something else is afoot or something else is going on here.
Well, I had to laugh because you sent me something about it, and I sent back and said, except, I mean, they're all saying how Jay Clayton is the perfect person.
Oh yeah.
Except he has no national security experience.
Well, neither did Pulte, but you had a problem with him.
Well, you had a problem with Pulte for those very reasons. and it was so beautiful because we just did. When did we do the Pulte thing? Wasn't that last week?
Yes, that was
Wasn't it last week.
Yeah, and a little bit before that, but so to your point, listening to the opposition is oftentimes, again, shout out to Drunk Pinata, even though he's a glutton for punishment and a bit of a masochist in
God
that
bless him because he brings to us what we can't stomach.
Right. But I do think listening to the opposition, like Feisty's saying, listen to Mark Warner, golly, you can get a lot out of that. Arguably more out of that than you can research nowadays, because the internet seems to be like a Potemkin village. You know,
well, it is.
Go
right?
back to all the Q drops and click on every hyperlink in every Q drop. What will you find? A 404 message. Everything's been scrubbed. Everything in every single Q drop.
Well, it's not really a 404. I'm just going to point out when they went to Tor, you can still find the articles.
Oh, you can?
Yeah, you just can't click through the Tor. You're going to have to copy and paste it. You can still get to the articles. They're not scrubbed.
So, well, if you want to access it from a Brave browser, Microsoft, or Chrome, Opera, whatever, you're not going to find it that way. So,
but it's funny because we're watching the unraveling here while a peace deal is being struck there. And you've got all of the deep state actors reliably coming out saying this is a terrible deal.
Talking about the JCPOA.
Right. And it's like, how much more exposure do we need to look at before we realize what's really going on?
They're not going to hand it to you on a silver platter. You got to be able, and I think if
you got to be able to reason through this.
If you can reconcile the fact that they're not going to put it in clear print writing, and
I'm a deep state person, come arrest me.
Yeah, they're not going to tell you that. All right, as long as you can come to peace with that, okay, then your logical next step should be, maybe we should observe the opposition and see how they're reacting. A case in point.
Well, I'll tell you what, it'll be a great day to see Mark Warner in front of the camera, and he's had to hawk his cufflinks. His gold I will be cheering. I may even stop by his house and say, "Good riddance."
Listen, I'll get you the GoPro now, please. But apparently Obama is now firing back and casting doubt on President Trump's new Iran agreement.
Of course he is. Because his JCPOA was shit.
Which tells you everything you need to know, because the same man who gave America the JCPOA disaster is suddenly pretending he has the moral authority to lecture Trump on how to deal with Iran.
Right.
Obama's deal gave Iran breathing room, legitimacy, cash, loopholes, and a path that never truly ended the threat, of course. It only delayed the issue, while Washington then proceeded to celebrate itself and told Americans not to ask too many questions, guys. Trump is clearly trying to do the opposite.
I was asked the other day to explain post 1245. Okay. And I sent you my 4-page research that I did back in the day on post 1245 became 8 pages when I updated it with current geopolitical realities. But I said you cannot explain what's going on right now unless you fully understand the pallets of cash. And how, because Trump just put it out in a post a week or so ago about how they emptied the Virginia, Maryland regional banks, sent it through New York over to Germany, used the shadow banking system to convert it to Swiss francs, right? Remember, and all the other currencies, to give Iran those dollars. I've always said from the day that happened, because I listened to the Treasury hearing on that in 2016, and he said that there was no law that prevented Obama from returning that sanctioned money or the escrowed money. That was the money that was put into escrow after the Shah, right? So from 1979, there was no law to prevent that. So the only reason for the cash to go as it was is it was illicit cash.
Yeah, and many different denominations.
And the different denominations happened when it got over to Europe.
Oh.
They used the shadow banking system to convert it and then send it to Iran. And he went on further to say because it was hard cash, once it got converted in the shadow banking system, it lost all digital tracking.
So this certainly appears to be one reason why Obama looks nervous.
Right.
That it's not just about Iran. It's maybe it's
because
about
what
his
was Iran
legacy.
doing? They were funding. In particular, they were funding at the time. They were funding North Korea They were North Korea was closely aligned with Iran's nuclear aspirations. So they were funding North Korea, which is the first thing Trump went after, if you recall.
That's right.
So now you've got Russia and China helping with this nonproliferation. Then you got to ask the question, where does the rest go from here? Well, I systematically went through that whole post and I explained it. And I encourage people to really sit back and think. It isn't the JCPOA so much, because that was a concession. Those pallets of cash just happened to go on the same weekend that they released those American prisoners, which I've always said was cover for what the real
That's
story
right.
was.
Yeah. I always had that feeling too, Feisty.
Right. I've said it from day one. That was cover. They used the shadow banking system to convert that money. So it was illicit cash. It wasn't about those prisoners.
So you're telling me that it exposed the world's monetary system?
It totally exposed it.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Wait, that the JCPOA did, or what Trump is doing right now?
The JCPOA is a concession.
Oh, okay.
So I've been saying that Iran was holding us hostage for years.
As well as the shadow banking networks?
They know some things. Well, you remember, where was Zanjani?
Iran.
He's right in the heart of the shadow banking network.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So Iran was using it, and they were going to come back and say, well, I know you're using it. How do you get all this illicit money to your target? The shadow banking system. It was completely weaponized. And it gets even deeper because this is being done with Brussels and City of London being a part of it.
Why do I feel like this intersects between geoeconomics and like international security?
It all does.
Really?
You can't do this shit if you don't have the money to do it. And you're not going to put the money you're using to do it on a paper trail, right? You've got to do it another way.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what that pallets of cash really represented was, here is how they did it. And it then totally leaves digital tracking once it got converted and sent to Iran.
Clarity Act. Let's go. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Jax with the can says, Barack Hussein Obama is shitting his pants. I hope he brought his shitting pants right now because of all the 08 data links back to 9/11. Really?
Mm-hmm.
Contra networks, et cetera. You agree with that?
I do.
Wow. Let's go.
I don't know who created Obama. I think he was Intel created.
Brennan.
Yeah.
I seriously think it was Brennan.
But if you go back and you follow the path through the 90s, what you're watching through the 2000s, 2010s, and now the 2020s, it all completes a complete timeline. But you've got to go back. Actually, the halal mortgage stuff really started to come into play in the late 80s.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Mm-hmm. 84. Matter of fact.
Well, it started in
I read that the other day. Yep.
I want to say it started in early 70s over in Bangladesh.
Yeah. Wow.
But it became institutionalized here in 87.
Bill Pulte. Anybody? Calling ground control to Bill Pulte. Come in.
Why do you think they're freaking out? You're unraveling this web that was designed to never be unraveled. And I'm going to even tell you one more thing. If it wasn't for Doge getting in and mapping the government so early on, I don't think we would be having these discussions. They used AI to completely map the government. And we've been using what was mapped to take care of business.
Wow. We're seeing so much going on. And wow. So again, we're simultaneously exposing front companies, shell banks, that this answers so many questions that I've had previously regarding the IRGC and whatever's been controlling the IRGC. Because I'm like, there's got to be a connection of the IRGC to the city of London. But what are those connections? And Trump is literally, guys, you can't get any more obvious than this. He's literally taking them all of it on and taking all of it out as we speak.
He started with what you would feel was more innocuous, right? When he put sanctions on bad actors. But then if you dig into the later sanctions, as we keep going down the road, those sanctions are pretty pivotal as to where and who's utilizing those networks. And so you're watching him just start pulling hairs, right? And now his victim is bald. They've completely gone after Brussels. Brussels can't cut a break. And what did Trump do? Those are those bilateral trade deals. He's taken away their what is called sticky power. Look it up. Brussels sticky power is a real term. What is it? They're the rules-based order, and they use those rules to force countries to buckle under to their rule.
And they use those rules to bypass laws.
And when he started doing the bilateral trade deals, they could say, screw you.
Yeah, and
they are.
They use those rules to bypass laws, right? That's another, you get the administrative state, right? This is why they fame a proper amount of outrage when the Supreme Court ruled on
Chevron.
EPA, Chevron, right? Cutting the nuts off of
Did you see the new rules?
state.
I mean, the rules, the comment period for the new rules Russ Vought put out, cutting off all of that.
It's good, too, because, again, these rules, and they are rules, they're codes and rules, they actually explicitly violate. They break laws. They break laws and violate the Constitution.
Well, he reversed it with this, and every comment up there, 24,000 comments up there. I think the comment period ended at midnight, I believe, Friday or Saturday.
Oh, wow. No, I missed this.
23,000 comments, and I didn't find one that said, this is great.
Really?
Right.
Oh, gosh. So I hope you went in there and said thank you for what you're doing.
257. If London is responsible for all of this, why are they destroying their own country with the same immigration, trade, and social policies? Because London isn't responsible for all of this. Brussels is.
Brussels, yeah.
And London, think about it. Brussels sets the rules.
Yeah.
London financed those rules through the shadow banking system.
But then people will get confused because they'll say, but I thought Brussels was the banking.
No, Brussels is not the banking.
And
That's
City
the
of
EU.
London is the plumbing.
Plumbing is how the money moves, right? That's the financial plumbing.
Yeah, but how
Brussels
come money
is the sticky power.
Okay.
So Brussels sets the rules.
Think of the EU, okay?
Yeah, well, let me take it a step further. Brussels sets the rules. EU, yes. They set the rules and they say you will be DEI climate change friendly. The plumbing from City of London will only fund those countries that implement DEI and climate friendly
They're being forced
policy.
to, right.
They're being forced if they're going to get any of that money.
Right.
Remember, World Bank funds cannot go to a country for purposes of war. It can only go for policy purposes. So they're using the World Bank rule on what those monies are for. They're saying, okay, get climate friendly and we'll send you your $100 billion.
And if you don't cooperate, City of London, then we're gonna flood your streets with immigrants? Question mark.
I think that is part of what's going on because what has been
answer
happening.
question.
Well, SOFR was completed in 23, and London's been on fire ever since.
So Keir Starmer is a useful idiot.
I think so.
Yeah, he's a centerpiece. He's a puppet.
Why doesn't anybody ever talk about Sadiq Khan?
Sadiq Khan,
not managing London better? Why don't they ever talk about him?
That's like talking about Gavin
Starmer's
Newsome
prime minister.
and never
Sadiq
talking.
Khan is the mayor.
That's like blaming everything that's happening in LA on Gavin Newsome and totally ignoring Karen Bass.
You got Karen Bass sitting right there in the middle of it.
Right. When they both play their parts, but but in this situation, Karen Bass would have had to have been there a lot longer than Newsome because Sadiq Khan's been there a lot longer than Keir Starmer. So I gotta show you. Okay, 8 minutes. This piece will be long enough to see Obama's reaction. I also got John Poteritz, who loses it over Trump botching the Iran war botching it. I honestly don't know if this could be any worse, he says. Trump has choked. He has chickened out. I knew this was going to be the response, by the way. He says, I'm out of my mind here. The Israel lobby has buyer's remorse on Trump. What? This is a so-called Zionist who says there is no person on earth who is going to say that America didn't lose this war. There is nobody really digs his heels in. Ultra-Zionist John Podhoretz has a meltdown over Trump's Iran deal.
That was actually a good piece.
I got that, but I got Obama. Here, you guys are not going to want to miss this. Check this out.
So right now, President Trump is on his way to the G7 summit after reaching a deal with Iran. Trump reportedly telling the New York Times the deal will still allow Iran to continue enriching uranium for non-military purposes. Former President Obama casting doubt on how it's different from his own deal.
It is doubtful that any agreement that arises is going to be significantly different or a significant improvement from the deal that we had in the first place and had worked for a long stretch of time before the United States pulled out of it.
Let's bring in Fox News contributor Mark Thiessen. Mark, I would say this to the former president's point. The difference is that the president dismantled their military in full.
Yeah.
Of course, you got some missiles still left, and it takes away the uranium that is there. So I would say that's the key difference, right?
Well, first of all, it's the exact same deal except for 14,000 military strikes that buried their entire nuclear program under rubble so deep that the Iranians have told us that they actually can't get to it. If we want the nuclear dust, we're going to have to come in and get it. Destroyed 82% of their defense industrial base, sunk their entire navy, grounded their entire air force, and also, by the way, the Ayatollah Khamenei, Qasem Soleimani, and like the top two tiers of their leadership are dead. But other than that, it's exactly like the Obama nuclear deal.
Yeah, so tell me, there are some concerns, and let's go through the proposed deal.
Yeah.
The resumption of the traffic in the Strait of Hormuz. It ends the blockade on Iran. Negotiates around nuclear enrichment, disposal, and enrichment. That's the president saying he's going to get rid of that dust within the next 60 days. And then some sanctions release, and then the release of some of the frozen Iranian funds tied to Tehran's compliance. Okay, so, and then, of course, can't forget about the ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon.
Yeah.
What are your concerns? Because, you know, I look at it, and I said this early in the show, the president has now put Iran in a cage, and I believe he will lead them there. But there will be another president, and the question is, will they keep him there?
Yeah, so a couple of things. One, we don't know the details of the deal yet. We don't know what has been agreed to, and the nuclear part is still to be negotiated. This is just an agreement to negotiate the nuclear side. So that's one problem. Another problem is that Trump's only going to be president for 2.5 years.
Yes.
And at some point, we could have another weak president like Barack Obama, like Joe Biden, and they're not going to comply with it. And the third problem is that the Iranian regime, thanks to all those military strikes, is on its back. And a deal, even a good deal, helps them get up. Because, I mean, right now, we're opening up the strait, we're lifting the blockade. That's billions of dollars going into the Iranian regime's coffers without them having done anything.
Yeah.
And then apparently we're going to give them, sanctions relief and reconstruction based on performance. But that means that we're going to be giving them a lifeline to revive their regime after we had decimated it. That is a huge problem because the Iranians may comply for a short period of time, but then we're going to have a weak American president, and they're going to have gotten the money. And then there's talk of a reconstruction fund of hundreds of billions of dollars. They'll be like doing a Marshall Plan for Germany while the Nazis were still in power. So I'm anxious to see what the details of the deal are and what gets negotiated, but I'm concerned. I agree.
I'm out of time, Mark, but also that last element of the proxies. It has to be clear that Israel is not attacking Lebanon, but they are attacking Hezbollah, which is funded by Iran. And that portion If this is included in the deal, that portion alone is going to blow this up very quickly if not handled appropriately. Thank you so much for joining the program.
I couldn't agree with him more about the Lebanon piece.
Yeah,
what I just said.
It has to be sure that they're attacking Hezbollah and not Lebanon.
Those are the security zones and the pilot programs, because we are actually engaging the Lebanese army. I don't know if you recall, but several months ago, it was clear that Lebanon itself did not invite Hezbollah. They were just incapable of dealing with it. And if you go back to the Beirut bombing, remember that?
Yes.
They used that footage to claim it was done in Ukraine later.
You mean that massive explosion that happened at the ammunition depot?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I had family that were affected by that, by the way.
I know people that were affected by it too.
That was
and
massive.
The problem with that was that was a Hezbollah warning. So it was proof that Lebanon was not capable of dealing with Hezbollah.
Oh, wow. That makes so much sense. There was, I remember there being claims of trafficking that was happening with that too, which I couldn't prove. But
so the fact that Lebanon is coming out now banning all IRGC means that we've got protections in place where the Lebanese military, along with Israel, are going to continue to decimate Hezbollah.
Let's go. Good.
So that's why I'm saying the rhetoric around the anti-Iran deal is so disingenuous, because it's not giving you the full story.
Now, how is the deep state part of Israel going to react?
Well, they're going to be negative, because the deep state part of Israel is siding with the globalists. The conflict in the area has been lucrative. Then you got the think tanks here in the U.S. I mean, this gets right back to the same story about Russia's the boogeyman, China's the boogeyman. The new boogeyman is Iran, the IRGC. You got IRGC members, though, sitting at the table trying to negotiate a deal, if you recall. And Trump saying that the hardliners are gone. Trump desecrating every avenue that they have for doing any of this stuff. And yet sitting at the table and inking this deal are IRGC members, the more moderate members. So when do you start to sit back and just peel that onion and say, wait a minute, did we get rid of the hardliners? It looks like we have. We've seen the list. And so when it comes to Lebanon, they tried to export their machine to Hezbollah, and it looks like Hezbollah is on its way out as well. Do you stop going after the friction in the area just because there's this peace deal on the table? No, you've got to enforce that peace deal.
I mean, to the normies,
how do you enforce it?
To the simple-minded, they might look at that a little cross-eyed and say, what's going on here?
Remember what the deal says.
Right, yeah.
It'd be a ceasefire, but it applies to both sides.
So maybe you'll be able to make sense out of this discussion here regarding Netanyahu that I got from Axios Comms. Barak Ravid, it was your interview that set things on fire with what President Trump told you following his scoop on Trump's criticism of Netanyahu.
Listen carefully to what he says.
Okay.
He's telling you it's Israel's deep state.
That's interesting. Okay, thank you. That's exactly.
He's telling you in that.
That was perfect. By the way, thank you to P Quest. Hey, shout out to P Quest. Good to see you. Thank you for the cookie. And thank you again, Jax, for the can. Who took home the lead tonight? Sean Joe. Actually, there's a 3-way tie on the leaderboard.
Wait a minute, Sean. Look at your finger.
There's a 4-way tie on the leaderboard. Sean Joe, Dixie, and Just Fed Up all tied for 400. 400.
Counting is so elemental.
Sean, let's see who. I wonder if anybody will take home that lead. Sean Joe, Dixie, or Just Fed Up, or if there'll be a 3-way tie. All right, check this out, guys.
Let's talk more about this. Joining us right now is the Axios Global Affairs correspondent and CNN political and global affairs analyst, Barak Ravid. And it's your interview that really set things over the weekend on fire with what President Trump told you. And one person not heard from yet publicly, it does appear, is who we were just talking about, Benjamin Netanyahu himself. And after that extraordinary interview that you had with the president this weekend, Barak, what are you hearing today?
Well, I think Netanyahu his people and his mouthpieces in the Israeli media are all furious about this deal. The Israeli ambassador to Washington, Yechiel Leiter, has been making phone calls to members of Congress, telling them how much Netanyahu is concerned and disappointed about this deal. One of Netanyahu's key mouthpieces in the Israeli press, a guy called Inon Magal, wrote on X a super strong post where he called the U.S. negotiators, Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, Jew boys. He called Vice President Vance scum. He said they're working for Qatar and the other Gulf countries. So when somebody that close to Netanyahu writes those things on X, I think it gives some sort of an impression about how Netanyahu and his close circle, what they think about this deal.
And the Lebanon front, I think it appears, is going to be more and more critical to how long this framework exists and stays in place if they're going to continue negotiations about the long-term future and stopping any long-term future of a nuclear program. Israel's defense minister said this morning that they are not withdrawing from southern Lebanon. So what is going to happen here? What are you hearing behind the scenes?
So first, I have no information that points to any demand by the United States, at the moment at least, for an immediate Israeli withdrawal from southern Lebanon. What I heard from U.S. officials is that basically in Lebanon they're talking about a ceasefire, which means everyone hold in place, no military action, neither by Hezbollah nor by Israel. And from what I heard from regional mediators, that in the talks between the U.S. and Iran through the mediators over the weekend, the point the U.S. made is, you, Iran, make sure Hezbollah doesn't shoot, and we'll make sure Israel doesn't shoot. But the thing is that the Iranians don't feel that Trump really has a way to make sure that the Israelis don't take military action in Lebanon. I think this is why that's going to be a main sticking point in the implementation of this deal. And also next week, on June 22nd, there's supposed to be another round of direct negotiations at the State Department between Lebanese and Israeli officials.
What did he say?
The U.S. wants a deal between Israel and Lebanon, not through Iran, but through direct Israeli-Lebanese talks. And I just wonder if the Israeli government will be open enough to actually have good faith negotiations when it is so mad about the current deal.
Yeah, I mean, as Aaron David Miller had put it, I know you'd sent it out. No U.S.
So I think that pretty much wraps that up. But
I've got one comment to make.
Please.
Does it make sense that CNN is going to bring on somebody that's positive?
No.
Okay. Just going to say that.
No,
the
not even a little
fact
bit.
that we're in a diplomacy push, knowing that we've got the pilot programs and we've got the security zones in place, that Israel and Lebanon are going to meet at the State Department in the U.S., should tell you something bigger is going on. Mm-hmm. And it's a lot more positive than what's being couched out there. Okay. The other part of it is, if you've got Lebanon finally able to be a partner in eradicating terrorism, Israel did a damn good job. Just going to point that out. Because they were controlling, just like they controlled the Iranian government, now they're controlling Lebanon. And if Hezbollah, being the most funded proxy partner, is that desecrated, is there any reason to believe that Ukraine couldn't be on the table?
Wow. Iran, Israel, Lebanon, peace, immediately followed by Ukraine. The midterms. Oh boy! I mean, you really couldn't paint a better scenario leading into the midterms.
Well, you can.
Or leading into the summer.
You can paint a better scenario.
Or the 4th of July.
Immediate relief at our kitchen table, right?
That's right.
And when you start to realize just how much of the money out of your back pocket was creating all of this, if he doesn't sweep in November, I don't know what to tell people.
So it's arguably going to be a very hot summer or a very hot August. Dare I say, even a red October.
Hot, right? And a very red October.
And a very
right?
red October.
Yeah, so yes, I'm kind of sitting in a... I very much am enjoying what I'm watching.
I very much enjoyed today's episode 47 of Feisty Digs. How about yourself?
I
Feisty?
thoroughly.
Good.
It's been a great show.
And we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it all over again.
We're gonna do it all over again on Thursday, right?
So, guys, please come on by on Thursday. Come join us, me and Feisty, as we do every Thursday. Oh, by the way, thank you and Mayor. Shout out to Mayor Bear for covering.
Oh, we had
me on
a
Thursday.
blast
I know you
Thursday
did. I know you
night.
did.
We had a blast.
I listened practically the entire time.
Did you really? The whole thing?
Yes.
Oh, so we had fun.
I don't think you realize how much I lurk. I'm a lurker.
No, I didn't.
Yes, I gotta keep tabs, and no, you ladies, I love.
In other words, we passed the final exam. Is that what you're
There's
saying?
no exam. All right, I trust you explicitly. I trust Mayor. I trust everybody here.
We had a blast.
America Rising,
and Johnny actually joined us for a few minutes.
Yep.
So it was great.
Yep.
We had a good time. You can go away anytime. We got it covered.
Yeah. That's actually very heartwarming to hear.
Well, it means that you don't have to worry.
Yeah. And
you've got a good
I'm not much of a worrier anyways. I know this a week from today, I got my beautiful cousin Sammy, who, boy, my family look very Middle Eastern. My female cousins, you could see them with the whole garb and beautiful dark eyes, brown eyes, and gorgeous big head of hair. And so I got her wedding on Monday. So sadly, I won't be able to do Feisty Digs on Monday. That might be the only thing I miss. I might be back before the news that night because I know the wedding's at 2 p.m. on Monday. And it's a 2-hour drive, so I got to leave here before noon. I don't know if I'll be back for the news.
You're not going to be back for Digs.
I wouldn't mind if you wanted to.
Well,
you can create whatever show you want, and I can post it for you here on Rumble, on my Pilled. Give you the stream keys if you wanted to do it with Mayor,
to do that.
Krista.
We'll get a round table going so we can bash.
Touche. Get Planet. I love hearing Planet. She's incredible.
She's my great sidekick.
Yeah.
Yes. I give her a bone and she chews it till there's no moral left. So I love it when she does that.
I adore Planet. Don't tell her.
So does my chat room. You can't have her.
Yeah. Don't tell her I told you that. Let's just keep that a secret. So. No, beautiful soul. But
she is. She's great people.
I'll be live tonight, you guys, for the news at 9:30 p.m. I think Johnny he did. Johnny just went live. By the way, Johnny does not have quite 1,000. I was hoping to get him up to a 900. He's at 863 followers.
Wow. How is it he doesn't have a following?
Because I just convinced him to verify his Rumble account to get that.
My Rumble account isn't verified.
Yes, it is.
I will agree.
Yes,
it is. A verified account gets you follows faster.
Wait,
mine isn't.
Yes, it is.
No. My Rumble account is not verified.
Yes, it is. I'm looking at it right now. You got that little sideways green check next to your name.
Well, when the hell did I do that? Because I didn't pay
Do you
Rumble.
pay $10 a month?
No.
Yes, you do.
Well, if I do, I don't know about it because it ain't coming out of my money. I have a feeling I got slipped through when I had to get out.
No.
I'm not paying. There's nothing coming out of my wallet.
You now have 1.23 thousand followers. And we just started your account. What? Has it been a year?
No, September.
Hasn't even been a year.
But if you recall, I didn't get it fixed until January because there were problems.
Well, you are verified now, and you got 4 subscribers over there. So, guys, I know, Rumble, most of you guys are probably following her. But if you're not following Feisty and Friends, Feisty-n-friends, F-R-E-N-S, over on Rumble, you're missing out. Please, as a favor to me, follow Johnny.
Johnny.
Yeah, we got to get Johnny's.
Got to get Johnny's numbers up.
We got to get him more followers. He's been doing this on Rumble for a long time now, arguably as long as I've been doing it on Rumble. And I mean, my numbers, I'm up over 5,000, I think, almost to 5,000. Mm-hmm. Please consider hitting that follow button if you're not following me on Rumble. Final thoughts, Feisty?
Hang tight, guys. Summer hasn't even officially hit yet. I cannot even begin to convey what I'm thinking because I'm just over the moon excited.
Yeah, me
I'm
as well.
watching everything come crumbling down, and we've been waiting for decades for this.
We have been waiting a long time, and I know a lot of people who have been dismayed, who have been really discouraged because they've been OGs at the red pill for like 20 years, and they get really bitter.
Well, I'm sorry, but there were signs all through this, from the 2020 kick in the gut to today. There have been signs almost weekly just to hang tight, that there was a grander strategy. And I think today you can see that unfolding and how it's multi-front, right?
Yep.
Both domestic and foreign.
That's right. And we finally hit 100 red pills. Look at that. We hit 100 red pills over on Build. And not just that, actually Rumble beat Pilled, you guys. Shout out to Rumble. Rumble beat Pilled today with 168 likes. Look at that. Thank you, guys, over on Rumble.
170.
170. Let's go, guys. Thank you. God bless you, Feisty. I appreciate you more than you know. Please show some love to our amazing, beautiful, badass mods out there, guys. And I will see you tonight at 9:30 p.m. Feisty, sit tight. I will see you on Thursday, right?
Thursday. Have a very good day, everybody.
And give my love to not Kevin.
I will do that. He's embraced his new name, yes.
Good. All right, guys. God bless. Stay safe. Stay dangerous. Patriots. We got this.
The veil is torn and the seeker never tired.
masking the players in the shadowed game, where the silence breaks, the hidden shakes. She names the unspoken